wild and domestic animals to people. The U.S. has ordered China to close its consulate in Houston, Texas by tomorrow, a move described as political provocation by Beijing. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said the decision was taken because China was, quote, stealing intellectual property. These statements came after unidentified individuals were filmed burning paper in bins in the building's courtyard. Earlier, the U.S. Department of Justice accused China of sponsoring hackers who had been targeting labs developing COVID-19 vaccines. Two Chinese nationals have been charged. And now news of a 48-year-old mother's extensive stay in hospital. A coronavirus patient from the Western Cape who was hospitalized for the longest period thus far in the province literally danced out of Groote Schuur Hospital this week, 77 days after she was admitted. The jubilation was there for all to see when she was discharged, said Alric Jacobs, spokesperson for Groote Schuur. 48-year-old Zuliswa Makana had severe COVID-19 pneumonia when she was admitted to Mitchell's Plain District Hospital on May the 4th. Now, she was transferred to Groote Schuur a day later, where she was immediately admitted to ICU and incubated and ventilated for 51 of her 54-day stay in the unit. When she eventually left the ICU on the 28th of June and was moved to Ward F, she could hardly talk or walk, but she slowly grew stronger as she was rehabilitated by physiotherapy and nursing. Makana said everybody was so nice to her and the doctors were wonderful. I'm so grateful for a second chance at life. Now, she's one of more than 70,000 COVID-19 patients in the Western Cape who've recovered from the disease. And finally, taking a quick glimpse into the world of entertainment, it's Throwback Thursday, and our favorite mum, Basitsana Khumalo, is serving us all the goods. She recently took to Instagram to bring South Africans along on a trip down memory lane as she posted a video of herself strutting her stuff down a corridor to Oleta Adams' 1993 song, Window of Hope. Now, the significance of this track? Well, it was this very same song played during the swimwear category of the very same Miss South Africa pageant where she was crowned the Queen in 1994. A memorable and joyous moment for South Africans. The event coincided with Mzansi's first democratic elections, and Basi took the crown after the first black Miss South Africa, Jackie Mofokeng, had paved the way in the previous year. Throughout her reign, the beauty queen, who thought she had been destined for a career in education, served as an icon for racial progress and continues to be a role model for South African women of color. Well, we salute you, Mum Basitsana. Thank you very much for opening that window of hope for all of us. Well, on that bright note, that's it for the news at 6 o'clock. We'll have another report at 7. Right now, here's a first look at the sports headlines.
Lots of rugby news circulating this week, and that's where we kick it off this morning. World Rugby yesterday approved a revised international calendar in which the committee has now proposed that the Rugby Championship be held in New Zealand over a 6-week period between the 7th of November and the 12th of December this year. New Zealand has, of course, successfully contained the coronavirus in recent weeks and thus has become the preferred host. And staying with rugby news, Pro 14 executives yesterday confirmed that the international rugby competition will make its return on the 21st of August after play stopped due to concerns over the spread of the virus. There'll be 15 rounds followed by the playoffs. Due to the current conditions of COVID-19 here in South Africa, no dates have yet been set for the derby games between the Cheetahs and the Southern Kings. Then onto football. It was an eventful evening at Anfield last night when newly crowned English Premier League champions Liverpool beat Chelsea in a stunning effort, 5-3. Reds not only celebrating their victory over the Blues, but also lifting the Premier League trophy for the very first time. Then earlier in the evening, in another Premier League encounter, Manchester United drew 1-1 against West Ham United. Red Devils will now need just 1 point from their final match against Leicester City on Sunday for a place in the UEFA Champions League. That's where we leave our sport for now. Let's take our first look at the weather.
As we invite the brand new day, let's do so with some sunrise pictures shared by you, our viewers from across the country. We start off with Ndogozo Makatini greeting the Expresso fam with the sunrise illuminating the night sky in Johannesburg. It looks like a sunny day is coming your way at a maximum of 18 degrees. Geraldine Flatwell came through with a stunning image of the sun blooming on the horizon in Clovelly, Western Cape. A low of 14 starts off your day, reaching an afternoon high of 19 degrees. Thank you, Ndogozo and Geraldine, for your sunrise pictures. You at home can also feature by simply sending us a sunrise picture in your hometown on our Facebook page, Expresso Show SABC3. Pardon me. A powerful earthquake located off Alaska's southern coast jolted some coastal communities early yesterday morning, and residents scrambled for higher ground over fears of a tsunami as warning sirens blared. The strong 7.8 magnitude earthquake was centered some 100 kilometers south of Perryville on the Alaska Peninsula. There were no reports of injuries or major damage, but the tremors prompted a tsunami warning for coastal areas. Coastal Alaska communities live with the most serious tsunami risk in the United States. Historically, tsunamis generated by earthquakes in Alaska have caused serious damage and loss of life along the west coast and across the Pacific. Now let's get into the temperatures for the rest of our country, starting off at Polokwane. Mostly sunny for Polokwane at a maximum of 18 and a minimum of 4 degrees. Cloudy day in Bombela at a low of 8 degrees, reaching a high of 20. Pretoria 522, upon Mahikeng at a maximum temperature of 22. At a 1 is your low, reaching a high of 25. A sunny temperatures for the day. Moving up to Sutherland at 2 as the minimum temperature and a maximum of 21. And last but not least, Uppington, a low of 5, reaching a high of 26. Now remember, whichever part of the country you're in, whatever the weather, make sure to have yourselves a feel-good kind of day.
Listen up, so later on in the show, we'll be taking a trip down under to a new ancient Aboriginal site that have been found in inland Australia. And from its highest peaks to its murkiest depths, this country is filled with some of the most wondrous and fearsome wildlife. And a native Australian who loved to engage people in his love of nature was wildlife expert and TV personality Steve Irwin. You remember Steve Irwin,
yes,
right?
Of course I do.
Absolutely. Now, his infectious bewilderment with all creatures, great and small, was marvelous to behold, and it's stunning to see how his children, Bindi and Robert, have inherited the exact same enthusiasm for wildlife and their love for wildlife. And he once had these words to say.
He said, if we can teach people about wildlife, they will be touched. Share my wildlife with me, because humans want to save things that they love.
Yeah. Oh man, just looking at that picture, and you can look at how comfortable that koala is in his hands, eh?
I hear your koala and down under.
Don't you just look at Steve Irwin and you just want to say g'day?
G'day.
Yeah, g'day.
No.
No?
I never wanted to say that.
Not at all?
But now I feel like I want to say
Not even grillabong?
Billabong.
Crikey?
Croquet.
Shrimp on the barbie?
Shrimp on the barbecue.
No, you don't. You never say the Q part. You never say the Q part. It's just Barbie.
Okay.
Ah, Jamie Lee. You are wild, aren't you?
Mama, you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Happy birthday, a very happy birthday to you.
Hey, feeling it is your happy Thursday, everybody, but it's also that time of the day where we get to wish you, our loyal and loved viewers, a very happy birthday. And today you are celebrating alongside greatness.
Yes, does this sound familiar? Vulega, 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 mazulu, vulega, mazulu. Oh, we need Domberg. Greatness.
I actually do know the song.
You know the song, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Amazulu. Amanda Benedicta Anthony, better known as Amanda Black, turns 27 years old today.
Wow.
She's a South African singer and songwriter who rose to fame on a popular talent show. She blessed us with her song Amazulu, which was nominated for several awards, and her first album was certified platinum 3 weeks after its official release. It has been a pleasure watching Amanda grow in the music industry. We hope to see her in the next 20 years. Happy birthday to you, Amanda Black. Oh,
Quickly, next Tuesday, I feel like you and Kat must do a collaboration
Tuesday,
for Tuesday because you're
Vulega, 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 vulega,
Okay.
vulega, mazulu.
I love that. Now we are going to get to you, our loyal viewers at home. This one reads, wishing Brooke a very special 12th birthday, and this comes from all your family and friends. Happy, happy birthday. We also have a video that was sent through today for Azalia Mayer. Let's check it out.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Azalia. Happy birthday to you. Hip, 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 hooray!
She's having the time of her life.
Just can we? Like that was the cutest ever. Happy birthday, Azalia. You're the cutest human ever.
That was great though.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Happy birthday, a very happy birthday to you.
Hey, listen, you are still tuned into your Feel Good Breakfast Show. You see what you did there? Your voice resonated that we just had to take a quick ad break.
ad break, girl.
But listen, we still have the cutest video ever sent through from Azalia Mayer's family. Let's take a look at it.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Azalia. Happy birthday to you. Hip, 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 hooray!
I just want her vibe because she's just
Happy birthday to me.
Yes, absolutely coming through with the dance moves. Happy birthday, Angel. Hope you have an amazing day today. And your family loves you a lot. That they even sent in a little special video for you. So, yes, make it a special one today.
Now moving on to more birthdays. Wishing Brooke a very special 12th birthday from your family and your friends. Happy birthday, Brooke. Happy birthday to my young sister, Ellen Soul. Enjoy your day from Utsolo Notsejo.
And the next one reads, happy 31st birthday to William Shifona. May the Lord God grant you many more years to come from the Expresso show team. Oh, hi, William. Enjoy your special day today. Looking all cute there, Mr. William. And then the next one, we're sending warm, fuzzy wishes to you on your birthday, Zisipo. May you be blessed more from your girls and all the family. We love you loads.
Today, you are a year older than yesterday. Hope you enjoy your special day. Happy birthday, Asande. I love you, love, from Bundle and family. Oh, I love that skirt, girl. Love it. Francois is celebrating his birthday. I wish my father, Francois Lewis, a very happy birthday. I thank you for all the wonderful work you and your family are doing. May God bless you more from the Swartz family. Happy birthday to you.
And we actually have Francois on the line now. Francois, good morning.
Good morning, Jerry. How are you?
I am very well, and you, Father Francois. Happy birthday from all of us at Expresso. We thought we have to call you this morning. How are you going to be celebrating your birthday this morning?
Well, I'm just feeling great. Thank you very much.
You're just getting dressed, so ready for the day. You are still tuned to your Feel Good Breakfast show, right?
Excuse me?
You are still watching the show while you're getting dressed, right?
Yes, I am. I'm busy watching the show. Thank you very much.
Oh, we love that. So are you going to be doing anything special on this day? Why are you getting dressed? Where are you going to?
Now we're just going out for the morning for breakfast with my brother-in-law and his brothers. That's the only thing I planned for today because I'm taking a short break to be with the family. Since lockdown started, I've been working, so I'm just taking a few days off from work.
Oh, that's beautiful though. Well, listen, wear your masks, sanitize your hands, and please send us all the pictures of all the festivities that's going to be happening today. Again, happy birthday from all of us at Expresso. We hope that you have a wonderful day with your family, and may God spare you many more years.
Thank you very much, Jamie. Have a great day. And thank you for the show.
You too. Now, of course, if you would like to send your loved one a birthday message and even maybe a shout out, because we'll be calling you on the show, then send us your birthday videos to 071-640-6551 or email your wishes to birthdays@cordova.tv. But of course, right now, we're going to have a young sip and wish you a happy birthday, everybody.
Clover Classic, the creamy taste that takes you back. Made with love by Clover.
All right, well, let's celebrate your birthdays even more in the kitchen by making something delicious. And right now, it's time for a timeless recipe that has certainly got timeless taste. It is our Clover Classic mixed fruit loaf, which combines creamy flavors of Clover Classic with a, oh man, just Moorish kind of taste, and perfect for those tea breaks or sweet something when you're eating in or celebrating with friends. And Nicole's here to show us how to make it. Good to see you, Nicole, looking lovely.
This was Jamie's idea.
Oh, really?
Very bright red lip. I had like a nude lip. She's like, no, you need to do red.
Oh, so she's claiming it even right now. She's like, yes, girl, that was all me. I told you to do that, and look at you looking all fabulous.
She's getting really good, you know, like I need that advice because I'm not very good at makeup, but Jamie, I think she's very, very good. It's like a hidden talent.
She's
welcome.
A style queen. Style queen. All right,
cool.
Let's get ready to make this mixed fruit loaf.
So we've got flour in here, and we're going to add a little bit of a rising agent. So you think loaf, you think bread and yeast. This is a yeast-free bread, so it's all. This is a we would call this like a chemical leavener because of the baking powder.
A chemical
leavener. So it's like leavener. So in your bread, like it's a rising agent.
Yes, okay, leavener. That's a new word for me. I've never heard that before. So without yeast, does that mean you'll get a more dense bread? So we're kind of like the air pockets in between are a lot smaller, or what does that mean?
You could say, because like I find that if you do yeast and bread as well, it could also be quite dense if you don't mix it properly and if you put too little water in and you don't give your bread enough like room to rise.
Yeah.
So
or you add if your water's too hot, it kills the yeast, right?
As well, that is 100% right.
Yeah.
You know, I actually watched that bread making class the other day on YouTube, and I really you were in it with like Jade, and we're making bread. It was so much fun. You check it out, and that's all like online, and also tells you how to make bread.
Exactly.
But this one we're using the baking powder. We're gonna add a little bit of salt. I've added some sugar because we're making a tea loaf. You want it to be a little bit sweet. Yeah.
And of course, with the sweet, you always need a bit of the salt. Otherwise, it just turns into a cake, basically.
Yes, exactly. But you want a little loaf, a nice slicing loaf.
Okay, good.
Okay, so then we've got 2 eggs in here. We're going to add a little bit of vanilla.
Lovely.
I'm going to add that in there, and then a little bit of milk. And then you want to add a cup of our Clover Classic yogurt-based dairy snack, which is the mixed fruit. So if you have the strawberry one at home, do the strawberry.
Excellent.
I think they've got vanilla as well, or just plain classic is also just as good.
Quick question, when it comes to, I guess, essentially baking like we are right now, why do we always mix wet ingredients in separately and dry ingredients separately and then bring them together? Why not just smash everything together?
Because I find that you need to mix this. You need to mix this. And when it comes to baking, over mixing can cause it to be volcanic, tough, and very chewy. So this way you avoid over mixing it and also incorporating all this beautiful wet ingredients into your dry ingredients nicely.
Okay.
So I would say over mixing.
Because over mixing is dangerous to your baking.
Yeah, you're going to land up having like a hard rock or brick almost if you overmix your bread, or any baked cakes as well. You'll see it almost like becomes like a volcano. You don't want that.
You don't want that.
No.
The only explosions of deliciousness is that in your mouth. That's what you want.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do is mix this up. Then you're going to add dried fruits. I've got a little bit of apple, I've got apricot, a little bit of raisins. This is entirely up to you.
Okay.
So you can add whatever dried fruit. You can even leave it out if you want to, but I think I like the texture.
Probably not those dried, the freeze-dried fruit, eh? That would be kind of weird.
That would be
weird.
wasteful because it will just absorb all the moisture again because of the liquid.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is a good tip. What I learned as well in culinary school is like you want to coat your fruit in with the flour. That way it doesn't sink to the bottom.
Oh, yes, because that would happen. Okay, good idea. Great tip there.
There we go. So then you're going to mix this all in. Like I said, don't overmix. You want this still to be a little bit of a wettish dough, not too wet either. You want to see it like almost come together. So if you find that it's a little bit dry for you, just add a little bit of more of your Clover Classic, or you could add a splash of milk, depending on what you prefer. And you can see I'm literally just mixing until all the flour is incorporated. You don't want to overmix at this point. You pour it into your baking tray.
And of course, I just need to say while you are doing that our yogurt-based drink is filled with 10 vitamins. So great to know that you are also adding vitamins to your body while you do that.
Exactly.
And while you do that quickly, how do you know? Because we say that overmixing is a danger when it comes to baking. So how do you know when you've mixed perfectly? Well, where do you hit that perfect mix point?
When you don't see any more flour. So you could see I was more like a folding
What about
action.
inside? There could be like pockets inside that have...
No, you'll see. You just give it like a 1 or 2 extra mixes, like bring it up from the bottom like that.
Yes.
And you'll see when you're cutting through the bottom, it will disperse those little pockets of flour. And until everything's incorporated, then you know it's mixed.
Then
don't
you
mix
stop.
anymore. You stop. You're like, okay, cool, everything's ready. Now you pop it into your baking tin and you can pop it in the oven at 180 degrees. I'd say this is a very dense cake, so do 45 to 50 minutes baking time.
Wonderful stuff. And you slice it up, serve it up with your tea and whatever you'd like. But it certainly is a delight. Thank you very, very much, Nicole. And a great variation on a birthday cake as well if you're going to be celebrating your birthday. And of course, you know that you can find the recipe on expressoshow.com. But in case you missed the steps of making this wonderful mixed fruit loaf, take a look at this.
Made with love by Clover.
Clover Classic, the creamy taste that takes you back. Made with love by Clover.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome Welcome back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked on your feel-good kickstart to a brand new day. Now, given the plights on our energy grid at the moment, we are reminded daily and the effects of global climate change. The fight for more renewable energies is still going and hopefully building momentum at the moment. So our favorite Grant is here to talk a little bit more about some renewable energies that you may not have heard about as yet. This is the new frontier and it's great. We want to be talking about new renewable sources of energy.
Renewable energy is one of those conversations that we need to continually have, and there's a lot of things that distract us from it, but the thing is that we need to start working at how we generate electricity, especially for just across the globe, for climate change, for look at what's happening with our grid right now at the moment, in a more sustainable, eco-friendly, inexpensive way. And there's a couple of, obviously we've heard tons of different solutions like over the past couple of years. Even at school, everyone's learning about new things, but there's new technology that's being innovated quite regularly.
And we need that kind of innovation now more than ever, and technology is lighting the way, and it feels like we are building momentum now more than ever before because we've got so many bright minds focused on this. Excuse the pun. So let's start with marine solar.
Yeah, so marine solar is a very interesting technology. There's a lot of space out to sea. We do have a lot of big solar arrays that exist on freshwater, and obviously that's a little bit more, it's easier to manage because freshwater can stay a lot stiller than open water.
Bearing in mind the tsunami that we were reporting on earlier this morning.
Yeah, so there are like a lot of practical potential pitfalls when it comes to marine solar panels, but we're starting to overcome that technology, and not a lot of people really know about that. So more surface area with solar technology, the better. The bigger the spaces that we can create to put that solar energy where we don't necessarily have to sit and exist, means that we could probably generate more electricity. Obviously, there are other problems, technical problems that we have to overcome, but every time someone goes, oh, that's never going to work because this is there's that problem. Don't worry.
Rise to that challenge.
Technical problems are the things we're really good at solving.
That's what
if we said that about, if we just gave up, we wouldn't have any form of like medical health, like medical breakthroughs, because we'd just be like, we don't know how to fix that. So yeah, that's one of those things.
And that's one of the ones that's standing out. Now, this one I know absolutely nothing about. Static compensators. What
okay, so this is not a very sexy one, when you're going like, well, what's going on? But a lot of renewable energy like fluctuates. The frequency of the power fluctuates. When the lights go in your house, like when we have like nuclear plants and so on, we can generate a lot of electricity at like a static frequency that all the household appliances can use. But with renewable energy, we struggle to do that. But with these new innovations with static compensators now, we're starting to get to a stage where we can really manage that amount of frequency so that it's really viable for household technology. And it's one of those problems that people at home don't really realize. You think that if you've got a wind turbine, you can just generate electricity, but it has to be generated at a certain frequency.
So we can sell it.
Well, so that it can be applied. No, it can be applied to your console attached to your TV. If you're watching this at home, your TV has to run at a certain frequency. If it dips, it could break the appliance. So we want to make sure that we don't do that with renewable energy, and that's really exciting.
Well done to the designers in Brazil and the US who have now, of course, made massive strides. Now, let's talk about dynamic export cables.
Okay, so this is a very interesting technology. So if we are putting solar wind farms out to sea or very far away, we've got to get that electricity to us. So obviously these solar wind farms that are out to sea, like on these floating giant platforms, need to get that electricity to us. And that's where dynamic export cables come in. It's these high megawatt like cables that transport as much electricity to the mainland as fast as possible, and without wasting electricity on the way. Remember, energy as it travels,
it loses its potency.
Yeah, it loses its potency. Guys who are doing science at school, you need to know that stuff. So you want to make sure that it stays the same, and that's a really, really interesting technology. Again, it doesn't come out as sexy as it sounds, but it's really important that we fix these small technical problems.
I'm starting to see a common thread. When you start to combine all of these innovations, these problem-solving kind of pockets, we start to create this global possibility, global network of energy, which I love.
It's like Lego blocks too, like sustainable power.
I love it,
so
and,
cool.
we really do need it now more than ever. Let's talk about green hydrogen.
Okay, so green hydrogen is something we've been talking about for a very long period of time, but it's becoming more and more reasonable. I think it was in Mission Impossible. Actually, not sure which movie it was in, where hydrogen was used as the electricity source, the power source.
We've been talking about the hydrogen molecule and unlocking that power in a lot of sci-fi. It's been a very, very popular thread.
Yeah, because it's hydrogen is in a lot of different compounds, especially in water. There's hydrogen and oxygen, and if you split this
most readily available, yeah.
Yeah, and if you can have this really powerful green power source, like energy source with hydrogen. So if you turn water into hydrogen, you split the O2, then you just release oxygen back into the air. So that's so much better than carbon dioxide. It's the opposite effect. And we're in a stage now where a lot of countries all around the world are kind of rushing to get this technology out because it's becoming way more viable, and everyone's trying to compete to see who's on top of it. So I don't know if there's anybody out there.
I'm just thinking,
in South Africa,
terraforming Mars, you need energy on Mars, you need oxygen on Mars.
You need water on Mars too, though.
I think
we've got a lot of water on this planet.
I'm just saying there might be, man. Really exciting to see how far the world has come when we talk about renewable energy sources. So much of this was just conjecture and us kind of hoping for solutions. Now we are finding those solutions inspired. Will it save us from load shedding later today? Probably not, but we'll get there soon.
This is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, right here on SABC3. Thanks for joining us once again at the start of a brand new day. Now, in world news, an international team of archaeologists from Australia and the United Kingdom have recently discovered the first underwater Aboriginal archaeological sites off northwest Australia, dating back thousands of years ago, before the land was submerged. Now, this is a great discovery as it provides new insight and evidence of the way of life of many Indigenous Australians. Now, Associate Professor Jonathan Benjamin, who is the Maritime Archaeology Coordinator at Flinders University, Australia, joins us to tell us more about this find. Professor Benjamin, thank you so much for joining us, and a very good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So take us into the significance of this discovery and the discovery of these sites for Australia as a country. How significant is it?
Well, it's extremely significant, and what we've done is essentially marry up two subdisciplines, which is maritime archaeology with Indigenous archaeology. So, yeah, it's been a big media piece over here, and a lot of people, especially Indigenous Australians, are really interested, and that's felt really great.
Yeah, absolutely. And the international community as well, as you've been doing interviews all over the world. So tell us about exactly what was found in these two sites.
So our team basically set out on a 3-year project to locate submerged ancient Aboriginal sites on the continental shelf. We started with aircraft using laser scanners. We then moved to marine-based sonar, and eventually drop camera, and then scientific divers. And what our scientific divers discovered after all that was essentially a very, very ancient settlement on the seabed from a time when sea level was much lower and the seabed used to be dry land. So it's submerged archaeology.
Oh, that's truly wonderful. And these discoveries were made as part of the work done by the Deep History of Sea Country project. Could you tell us a bit more about the work done by this project?
Sure. The DHSC project was funded by the Australian Research Council and involved Flinders University, the University of Western Australia, James Cook University, and colleagues over in Europe. And it essentially set out as a proof of concept project. We said that we thought we should be able to find very old, ancient Aboriginal sites on the seabed because we knew that the seabed used to be inhabitable dry land. And the hypothesis was if it was inhabitable dry land, there's no reason why certain areas shouldn't be well preserved, and that those well preserved areas shouldn't contain ancient archaeological material, which we've now proven.
And so as you continue exploring the waters through this project, what more do you hope to find?
Well, that particular aspect of the project is now concluded, so we're writing up all of the details, and we've basically finished the field work for the time being. But in essence, I think that there are sites like this absolutely all over the continental shelf of Australia. So the whole country really is ripe for exploration. There's 2 million square kilometers of land that used to be, occupied by people that's now underwater. The continent used to be connected to New Guinea. Tasmania used to be part of the mainland. There are all kinds of archaeological questions about Australia. And also, by the way, you have that in South Africa. You have continental shelf in your part of the world that used to be dry land, and you have an amazing and rich, human history for hundreds of thousands, even millions of years in your part of the world. So this isn't just an Australian issue. It's a world archaeology issue, and the underwater archaeology from coastal environments around the world really is the next frontier in ancient archaeology, and it's a global question.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you touched on the point of, human history, how do you think, in your opinion, will a discovery like this, and hopefully soon more to come as well, contribute to the cultural and historical narrative of Australia, especially to its people? How do you see it contributing?
Well, think about it like this. If you look at the modern coastline of kind of around the world and where people go, the coasts are very productive areas, and they always have been. So it would be like saying, take the coastline of any country around the world and exclude the first 100 or 150 Ks, and then tell me all about the culture of that country. So if you imagine doing that in Australia or South Africa, tell me all about the people, but exclude the coast and up to 100 Ks inland, you'd have a very different record. And so what we're trying to do is really demonstrate that, the coastal archaeology of the past, it's now underwater. All of the coastlines from before 7,000 years ago are underwater. And if you want to know about people, you need to know about the coastal people. And if you want to know about the coastal people, you've got to go do underwater archaeology.
Wow. Fascinating stuff. Thank you very much, Professor Benjamin, for making the time available to chat to us.
Thank you for having me.
That is Associate Professor Jonathan Benjamin, who is the Maritime Archaeology Coordinator at Flinders University in Australia, and great work that they're doing that side to unearth and understand the heritage of the people. still tuned into your feel-good breakfast show Expresso on SABC3. And this morning, our resident gaming guru, Gareth Woods, joins us to review another highly anticipated game for 2020, Ghost of Tsushima, a sweeping and gorgeous open-world video game set in the 13th century feudal Japan era. It's an equivalent of a Hollywood blockbuster, if you will, and fans have been waiting for it since 2017. Gareth is here to tell us more. How are you doing, GW?
Yeah, good, thanks. It's always good to play good games and then show them off to you guys.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So this is a game that first got fans excited back in 2017. Give us the backstory that kind of would explain to us all this hype that we're experiencing.
Yeah, so I think for one, Sucker Punch Studios are a studio that have released a lot of really, really good games, and so people are excited to see their take on it. It's also one of the last exclusives we'll see on the PlayStation 4. And generally what we've seen is the last games of console generation tend to be the moment when they've squeezed out the most kind of from the console.
Okay, cool. So as I understand, this is an open world samurai slashing RPG, right? So what's the storyline behind this world?
Okay, once again, can't give away too much because I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
But essentially what happened is the island of Tsushima has been invaded by the Mongol horde. So Kublai Khan and his kin have all invaded, and they're really wreaking havoc because they've essentially studied the samurai's tactics and their modes of honor and the way they do things. And you really learn the hard way when you try and, for example, fight one of the guys, and it's an army of them versus one of you, but because your ego and your samurai code says you can't sneak up or use guerrilla tactics, you have to kind of like face them mano a mano, you obviously get your butt kicked. Luckily you survive, and you slowly learn when this thief kind of trains you that, sometimes you can't go head on, sometimes you've got to be a bit sneaky. And so you start, I suppose, adapting your samurai codes to be a bit of a ninja as well. And with that, you start learning different techniques. It's what you need to do to be able to save your country. So, yeah, it's got a really good story, great narrative, and it plays out quite well in an open world, which is generally quite difficult for developers to do.
As the guy with a finger on the pulse of all things gaming, you've got first-hand experience at the gameplay. So talk to me about the combat and general gameplay. And does it succeed in giving you that immersive experience of Japanese culture in this open world?
I would have to admit, first of all, that I've never been to Japan, so I'm really just using it compared to my experiences consuming Japanese kind of movies. And I wouldn't say I'm like a samurai nut or anything, but I've watched enough to know that when you're playing the game, you're like, wow, that feels a lot like what I've seen in the movies.
Yeah.
From a gameplay perspective, the combat's really, really great and fluid and all that. I think one of the key things that makes it a bit different is you unlock these different stances. So as a samurai, you'll unlock like the water stance and the stone stance and all that, and you'll then employ these to fight literally dozens of guys at once. So you'll have some guy coming at you with a spear, and then you'll know that the water stance is the best for that. So you'll switch up, and you'll just be switching up on the fly. In the beginning, it feels kind of cumbersome because you'll be like, oh, what was the one for this? But after a while, you feel like, geez, like a proper samurai or Batman, like taking like dozens of guys at once, just switching styles. And it honestly feels like some of the scenes of like Kill Bill or something, where it's like 1 versus 100. Yeah.
That sounds super cool. So talk to me about the side quests in the game, because these days they've become quite standout points of open world games. So how are the side quests in this game?
You've got obviously the main quest that you can just follow and kind of beeline towards the end, and that'll probably take you about 25 to 30 hours to finish the game in that sense. I'm more of a side quest nut, so I go around, doing all the side quests, meeting all the different characters, and in doing so, you probably triple the gameplay in that length. So just Act 1 took me about 20 hours of the kind of 3 acts to play the game. If you're into that sort of stuff, some of the side quests are a little bit more mission-y in the sense that you're learning about certain other characters, and as you play them, you learn more about their stories. They're called tales, and you'll unlock kind of more knowledge about how they fit into this greater world. And then a lot of the other side quests are very kind of like just random errands. You'll walk into an area that's overrun by Mongols that you'll kind of like have to sort them out or rescue someone. I mean, here's something that the game's never done. You can do haikus. So you go to these like places of meditation, and you sit down and you like just contemplate and you write these haikus. So yeah, it's the first video game I ever played that it makes haikus fun.
That's pretty cool. So, listen, with all of that said, what's your final verdict or review? Has it lived up to all the hype?
Yeah, I would give it like an 85 out of 100, so like 8.5 out of 10. So really solid. I think it does everything really well. I think where it struggles is that it doesn't do anything new. Okay. And so, I mean, it's a bit of an unfair critique. So it's one of those, I've always said in a genre, you'll find the ones you remember, the ones that do things first or the ones that do it the best. This one fits more into the category of doing things the best. So the story is well told, the acting's decent, the graphics are amazing, it's got photo mode so you can take these great photos, the gameplay's slick, the load times are quick, all those sort of things, but there's nothing really new. And so that's kind of where my critique is. So if you're looking for something new, probably not the game to play, but if you're looking for an open world game that kind of ticks all the boxes of great story, lots of things to do, and whatever kind of mindset you're in, if you're for action or stealth or whatever there's stuff to do, then it's definitely going to be one of the better open world games out there at the moment.
Yeah, and an 85% approval rating isn't bad either. Thank you very much, man. So if you are a fan of classic samurai cinema and slasher action combat, then this may very well be the game for you. Gareth, thanks a lot, man.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you to Gareth Hoods over there and Kat for the insight on brand new games. But right now we're back into the kitchen. Listen to this. Eat breakfast like a king, the old saying goes, right? Well, add an Avo to your breakfast table and you certainly can. Well, we already know about everyone's all-time favorite breakfast, Avo on toast. But have you ever considered adding Avo to your breakfast smoothies? Well, I kid you not, it gives your smoothie the most luxurious, creamy taste, not to mention all the nutritional benefits that comes with it. Now, today we are showing you how to make 2 different Avo smoothies, and I promise that once you've added Avo to your smoothie, there will be no going back. And of course, our favorite Avo Queen chef, Anal, is back. Hello.
Hello.
It's good to see you.
Thank you.
You know, when the two of us are together.
Avo Queens. We're the Avo Queens.
We have to educate everyone on the Avos. How are you, by the way?
I'm very well, thank you. And I just want to say that blue looks so beautiful on you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I love you so much. I didn't pay you guys. I really didn't pay to say that. Okay, what are we making today?
So we're making Avo smoothies, and you said to me that you're a big smoothie drinker.
I have smoothies absolutely every single day, and I also always add an Avo to it because of the thick texture. It would not be, I make it more as a smoothie bowl, so whatever I have, whatever ingredients, I used spinach, kale, Avo for green to flush out all those toxins. So gooi it net in, meng it saam, and then boom, you have like this, the best drink ever.
Well, I can see it on you. You're looking fabulous.
Thank you very much.
So firstly, we're going to make a berry smoothie and adding an Avo, because Avo gives that real luxurious feeling, that smooth feeling that is on your mouth. And it's also good to use Avos in season. And you know that they are in season now at the moment. And they're nearly in season the whole year round. So there's no reason to add an Avo. So how you take the Avo is just cut it. I'm going to take the pit out, and I want to show you how it is to scoop it out of this.
Scoop, there it is.
Scoop. You just take one scoop and it's out.
Wow.
Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous?
That is beautiful. I'm going to learn about that because mine is always like taking it out, and then it just looks like a hot mess. And that's why I put it in the smoothies, because I mess up the Avo so much, and I'm like, I have to use it in an Avo, like in a smoothie.
And it's so easy to do it, and you can now fill that up. If you take it out so beautifully like that, can you imagine what you can fill it up with? Prawns, you know, the old retro prawn cocktail, bit of mayo
in there as well, some cheese. But what milk are you using for your smoothie?
I'm using normal milk, but you can use almond milk. You like almond milk, don't you?
So here's the thing with using your milk. I know that guys that bulk up or wants to add extra calories to their day would use full cream milk because they have calories to spare. For myself, that's trying to cut down or slim down for summer, I would then use like an almond milk because it has less calories. But of course, whatever milk works for you.
Whatever milk you want. So I'm going to add some banana in here, and I've also added frozen berries because it's going to give that beautiful frozen texture. to the smoothie, and a bit of honey, and that's it.
You can also freeze your banana as well. But here's the thing that I want a tip for everyone. Do not freeze your banana with the skin on, because what happens is when you have to take it out, you're like struggling to take the skin off, which I've learned now.
Have you done that?
I've done it. I have to be honest and confess. So take off the skin and then freeze it and then put it in your blender.
Yes.
Okay, are you ready to blend it?
Okay, I'm going to do this. Yeah.
Oh. That color.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Look at this.
Wow, that is gorgeous. And you know what? I think we're also lucky to have avocados available in South Africa almost all year round, thanks to our farmers, of course, growing both green-skinned and dark-skinned avos. That means a nearly year-long supply of these two equally delectable, slightly addictive fruits. So, yeah, we are so lucky in South Africa.
Look at that.
It was gorgeous.
That color. Look at that. How beautiful is that?
Absolutely
it's
do.
Thick and it's ice cold because of the berries. It's absolutely delicious. The next one I'm going to make is a lassi. Look at that.
I love it. This is gorgeous. I would pop my collagen in here. I'd pop my protein in here for my post-breakfast smoothie. So now we're going to do our second one.
Yeah, and this is a lassi. It's like an Indian yogurt-based drink. I love the little bit of acidity of it. And what I like about it, they spice it up with a bit of turmeric. It's going to give that beautiful yellow color. Yeah. It's also good for us. A bit of salt, a dash of pepper in here, a bit of honey or any sweetener that you want to put in here. I've got a bit of honey in here. It just looks divine.
That's gorgeous. And
I'm going to add a bit of milk.
All our viewers want to know how they can get their hands on either the ingredients or the recipe. You can go to expressoshow.com to get your hands on this. And I'm excited to see the color. I've never had turmeric and avo and all in a smoothie. So
let's show you. Let's show you.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's going to be like a light green because of the avo.
Because of the avo.
Yes. And now I'm just going to add this into a glass, and it's going to be all delicious and spicy. Look at
like
this.
me some spicy, mama.
Oh, look at that. That creamy, spicy, and so healthy. A perfect breakfast smoothie. Look at that.
Can I taste that one as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
So these two, and then what is this one?
That's a peanut butter smoothie that we made earlier on. It's also a brilliant one. It's got avo, banana, peanut butter, a bit of cocoa and vanilla. It is divine. Look at those colors. Look at those beautiful.
I have to be honest, I was a bit skeptical about this because of the turmeric, but it is actually so gorgeous. You can taste the avo texture of it as well. The color as well is so gorgeous. So yeah, this is so good. I'm so glad Raul's not in today, because now I get to take these home with me.
I know, you're going to take all of them home.
Yay. Chef Anel, thank you so much. Guys, this is the way you take your smoothies from bland to grand at an avo. That's all you need to do. Now, for more avolicious recipes, visit avocado.co.za, and also like at I Love Avocado SA on Facebook, and follow at I Love Avo SA on Instagram. But whatever you do, make sure to add an avo.
Yes.
Add an avo, nurtured in South Africa.
Imagine a land where the sun shines all year over unspoilt landscapes, open spaces and pure air revitalizing body and soul. Imagine crystal clear water teeming with marine life. Imagine wild beasts roaming the bush with pride. Imagine friendly people filled with the spirit of Ubuntu welcoming you to explore this magical land, the birth and resting place of Madiba. Wamkelekile in the Eastern Cape, a province that is yours to explore.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso as we're about to enter into the second hour of the show. I think a lot of us are missing the wild while Safari Live takes us into the wild so we can connect with some of the most amazing creatures on our planet, and we're going to do that in just a moment. Right now, though, let's get back up to speed with the latest news headlines.
It's just before 7 o'clock this morning. Here's another look at the news headlines. On the national news front, a Cape Town company is in the final stages of a rapid test that'll detect COVID-19 in saliva. Medical Diagnostic is one of 4 companies roped in by the Department of Science and Innovation to develop diagnostic tests for the disease. Now, the test will yield results within 15 minutes. The saliva-based diagnostic kit will receive another real-world test next week when it's rolled out at hospitals. Meanwhile, almost 6,000 lives have been lost due to COVID-19 in South Africa, with some 395,000 confirmed cases. Now, tributes are pouring in for struggle veteran Andrew Mlangeni, who died yesterday after being admitted to a military hospital in Pretoria because of an abdominal complaint. Mlangeni was convicted with Nelson Mandela at the infamous Rivonia trial in 1964. He passed away at the age of 95. President Cyril Ramaphosa said his death, quote, signifies the end of a generational history and places our future squarely in our hands. In his 2017 biography, The Backroom Boy, Mlangeni said in order for the majority of South Africans to be free, people like him would need to advocate peace instead of revenge. On the international news front this morning, humans settled in the Americas much earlier than previously thought, according to new finds from Mexico, published in the journal Nature. They suggest people were living there 33,000 years ago, twice the widely accepted age of the earliest settlement of the Americas. The results are based on work at a high-altitude rock shelter in central Mexico. Archaeologists found thousands of stone tools, suggesting use by people for at least 20,000 years. Professor Tom Hyam of the University of Oxford said the site was unique, nothing like it has been seen before. Now, a new report has identified eating and farming of animals as the single most risky human behavior in relation to pandemics such as COVID-19. The Food and Pandemics Report, produced by ProVeg International, released a statement calling on the global food system to change in order to prevent future outbreaks, as 75% of all emerging infectious diseases are zoonotic in nature. The UN Environment Programme has supported the findings and said never before have so many opportunities existed for pathogens to jump from wild and domestic animals to people. And now news of a giant effort by several hundred chefs in South Africa. It's now official. The remarkable display of the true spirit of Mandela Day by over 300 chefs who stood proudly behind their stoves has exceeded all expectations. Their target of 67,000 litres of soup was topped, and instead 77,455 litres was prepared, serving 309,820 cups of soup to hungry people all over the country. Despite the devastation of their industry, they took collective action to put their hearts where their passion lay, feeding people and conveying a clear message of the indomitable spirit of the chef. In 10 cities, which include Johannesburg, Cape Town, Pretoria, Durban, Bloemfontein, Mokopane, Rustenburg, Vereniging, Port Elizabeth and Nelspruit, hearty nutritious soup was cooked with compassion and care by chefs from restaurants, hotels, cooking schools and catering concerns. The initiative was made possible by collaboration between 2 not-for-profit organizations, Chefs with Compassion and SA Harvest. Chef Kupile, National Project Manager of Chefs with Compassion, said afterwards, quote, "We are humbled and proud to have been able to deliver an initiative as meaningful and as impactful as this in honor of Nelson Mandela." And finally, taking a quick glimpse into the world of entertainment, the legacy of the late Kobe Bryant continues to grow under the loving watch of his widow, Vanessa. Nearly 6 months after the horrendous helicopter accident that claimed the lives of the NBA superstar, his daughter, and 7 other passengers, Vanessa recently announced the release of Kobe's first young adult novel titled Geese Are Never Swans, created by the basketballer and written by psychologist Eva Clark. It explores mental health and the healing power of sports through its protagonist, Gus, a young boy who dreams of making it to the Olympic Games as a swimmer despite a myriad of trials and tribulations. Vanessa thanked his fans for continuing to support his legacy, adding, quote, "This book also helped me deal with grief. I'm glad we still have his books to help us along the way." Bryant had previously been awarded the 2018 Oscar for Best Animated Short Film for his contribution as executive producer on the film Dear Basketball. His His writing partner Clark described Kobe as having the spark of a storyteller needs, explaining he was dedicated to understanding stories. Clark concluded he wished to tell stories and connected with young people so they felt seen, motivated, and like the world understood and cared about them. Well, on that note, that's the news for 7 o'clock right now. Let's take another look at the sports headlines.
Thanks so much, Kat. Let's return to rugby now, and it seems that more live sporting action returning to the roster. World Rugby yesterday now approved a revised international calendar in which the committee has proposed that the Rugby Championship be held in New Zealand over a 6-week period between the 7th of November and 12th of December this year. New Zealand has successfully contained the coronavirus in recent weeks, thus become the preferred host. Then staying with rugby news on the international front, Pro 14 executives yesterday confirmed that the international rugby competition will make its return on the 21st of August. After play stopped due to concerns over the spread of the coronavirus, there will be 15 rounds followed by the playoffs. Due to the current conditions of COVID-19 here in South Africa, no dates have yet been set for the derby games between the two local teams, the Cheetahs and the Southern Kings. Then on to football. Finally, it was an eventful, goal-rich evening at Anfield last night when the newly crowned Premier League champions Liverpool beat Chelsea 5-3 with some stunning efforts involved. The Reds not only celebrated their victory over the Blues, but also lifted the Premier League trophy for the very first time in 30 years. Then earlier in our Premier League encounter, Manchester United drew 1-1 against West Ham United, who get themselves now clear of the drop zone. The Red Devils will now need 1 point from their final encounter against Leicester City. That's on Sunday if they're wanting to book their place in UEFA Champions League football next year. That's where we leave our sport for this hour. Let's now take another look at the skies and see what's cracking on the weather front.
Time for us to have the second look at the weather this morning, but first here are some sunrise pictures. Mpumelelo Nga is bragging about his photography skills by capturing the essence of a brand new day with this distant sunrise picture taken in Pietermaritzburg. It is going to be a sunny day in PMB at a maximum temperature of 23 degrees. Ethan Maris takes us to Stellenbosch in the Western Cape with the sunrise picture. Stellies, your low is 12 degrees and your high is 24 degrees today. Thank you, Mpumelelo and Ethan, for your pictures. I hope that you have a great day. A powerful earthquake located off Alaska's southern coast jolted some coastal communities early yesterday morning, and residents scrambled for higher ground over fears of a tsunami as warning sirens blared. The strong 7.8 magnitude earthquake was centered some 100 kilometers south of Perryville on the Alaska Peninsula. There were no reports of injuries or major damage, but the tremors prompted a tsunami warning for coastal areas. Coastal Alaska communities live with the most serious tsunami risk in the United States. Historically, tsunamis generated by earthquakes in Alaska have caused serious damage and loss of life along the west coast and across the Pacific. But now back to South Africa with our temperatures for the day, starting off at Polokwane with a low of 4 reaching a high of 18. A cloudy day in Mbombela at a minimum temperature of 8 degrees and a maximum of 20. A partly cloudy day in Pretoria, 522. The same for Johannesburg. It's a partly cloudy day at a low of 3 degrees reaching a maximum of 20 degrees. Hazy sunshine Mahikeng at a maximum of 22. Klerksdorp 022 and Kimberley the Big Hole 1 is your low reaching a high of 21. Bloemfontein, you start off the morning on -5 reaching a maximum of 21. Intermittent clouds for Richards Bay at a low of 12 reaching a high of 23. Pietermaritzburg 623 and Durban, South Africa's playground, your low is 8 degrees reaching a high of 25. Mthatha, your minimum temperature is 1 reaching a maximum temperature of 25. And right there, Mthatha, Monti 925 are your temperatures for namhlanje. Cradock, it's a sunny day at a maximum of 26. And Port Elizabeth, 9 is your low reaching a high of 23. Now moving over to George, your minimum temperature for the day is 12 degrees reaching a high of 23. And Cape Town 1224, Worcester 1025, sunny day in Sutherland at a high of 21 and a low of 2 degrees. And Uppington, you start the day on 5 degrees reaching a high of 26. That was your 7 o'clock weather roundup. Remember, whichever part of the country you're in, whatever the weather, make sure to have yourselves a feel-good kind of day.
a feel-good kind of day it's going to be. We're taking tech to wildlife and showing how tech can help actually with the conservation and all of those things. So you definitely don't want to go anywhere and stay tuned with your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Absolutely. And you're looking like you could be part of the cast of Safari Live. You know, I could
Is it
see
the
you.
hat? Is it the hair?
It's the hat, it's the hair, it's the boots, it's the look. You know, you look like you could be there sitting on top of the big Jeep. Firstly, no ranger has ever done that before, so don't.
First.
You're cutting your audition very short right now, Jamie Lee.
Wow. And yeah, I thought...
No.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back as we continue to talk tech here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Anti-poaching is a big deal to the African continent, protecting one of our most valuable natural resources, especially here in South Africa. And we're looking after our natural heritage for generations to come. That's how we've got to see it. And technology is playing its part more now than ever. Grant is back to chat to us a little bit how technology is helping our conservation efforts. And boy, don't we need it now. I've heard stories that there have been, again, spikes in rhino poaching because of the coronavirus pandemic and how that's affected how we're able to police areas. We need conservation efforts to get that shot in the arm.
You know, I feel very strongly about this. Predominantly because, you know, as Africa, as a continent, one of our biggest things that we can offer the world, and the things that like a lot of other countries have actually demolished, is their fauna and flora. And we've still kept and looked after our fauna and flora. That natural heritage is something that we have been really good at, like across the globe at looking after.
We're a global leader, yeah.
We're a global leader in it. And technology is helping play its part in this, which is really exciting.
So I know we've heard and seen how drones have been used incredibly. Now let's talk about thermal camera technology. How is this helping the guys in the front line?
So thermal cameras are actually improving quite dramatically. Now, a lot of people might know what a thermal camera is because they've seen it in an action movie, or they've seen it, night vision. Obviously, what it does is it detects heat signatures in the field. And using really advanced heat signature cameras, thermal cameras, you're able to identify and count animals at night. Remember, a lot of animal activity happens at night, but also poaching
predominantly happens at night.
Predominantly happens at night as nightfall happens. So it's really hard to roam around with like a big spotlight. You kind of want to make sure that you using a thermal camera, you can identify poachers when they can't see you.
Yeah, because it's a war out there, and you need to get the beat on them. Yeah,
it's a war out there. Like that's one of the most important things. Like we don't realize how technologically advanced these poachers are becoming, and our game rangers and our parks departments have to get even more technology focused, because it is a war, and the team with the best equipment wins.
Yeah,
and we need to be on the forefront of that.
Well, unfortunately, the amount of money being pumped into the black market when it comes to poaching affords them that advantage. So we've got to kind of offset that balance. The world is more connected now than it ever has been before. How is the Internet of Things helping conservation?
So the concept of the Internet of Things is that there are a lot of different products that use the internet. They're all connected, and by using all these different products, you can find out a bunch of information on what's happening on the field. So in this instance, you might not want to track a specific rhino, perhaps, but if a poacher enters a certain area, they're more likely to come across a different kind of herbivore, like maybe a kudu or an eland or something. So what we're doing is we're collaring a whole bunch of herds of these different animals with tracking devices. There are a whole bunch of 3G towers across some of the national parks, and when there's erratic activity by one of these elands, that signal gets pinged to a tower, and they'll know that that's where a really big potential poacher has entered the grounds, like illegally. So it's a little bit like Jurassic Park, you know, when they're sitting around the control tower, they see the different paddocks go.
I was going to say, like the coffee cup going. You know,
yeah, it's a little bit more technologically advanced than a coffee cup.
Big is coming.
Yeah, but it's this really unique and lateral solution to finding out what's happening, or how poachers are entering the national parks, what their movements on the ground are.
Well, in a very innovative way. I absolutely love that. Using AI for conservation. AI has been the new frontier that's being used in business and in technology in new ways now. It seems this year has kind of lifted the roof off how AI can be adapted. How is it being used in conservation efforts?
Okay, so like when we think of AI and how this is traditionally being marketed towards us, it's a lot of it's facial recognition, and a lot of it's nefarious. It's a little bit scary what that data means for our future, and we've got to start thinking as a population, it's going to happen, but how are we going to manage
how
data?
How are we going to control that? Yeah.
I have a really strong feelings about this, and it's obviously a conversation for another time, but very similar technology can be used in the field by putting up cameras and identifying different animals, and it can get so good that it can identify individual animals. So when you want to do counts of population counts and having, you traditionally have like a game ranger drive around and manually count, and you mark with with marking pens, like physical stuff. Now you have the capacity to use AI technology to literally do facial recognition with these animals and have proper counts, and that will help anti-poaching efforts because you will know what the population density is, which animals are missing, which animals are growing, what is the trajectory of the population, is it increasing, is it being healthy? And also remember, it's an ecology, it's one animal survival means the livelihood of another animal survival, or vice versa.
And it also, we can respond to this kind of gathering of data much more quickly, and we can act on it, which is exactly what we need to do. Very exciting stuff. Thank you so much for doing the research there. Amazing how we are seeing technology being used in our conservation efforts, and boy, do we need it now more than ever. And if you want to instill in a person the love of conservation and how precious that resource is, you've got to actually take people into the wild. And we've got a golden opportunity coming up now. Thank you, courtesy of the team behind Safari Live, who bring us an unprecedented window into the wild. Take a look at this.
This is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on SABC3. Thanks for joining us at the start of a brand new day. Now, once again, South African viewers are being transported from their living rooms to the safari, coming face-to-face with lions, leopards, cheetah, and many more wild animals in Wild Earth Safari Live, an unprecedented production that from the magical Greater Kruger Park, the rolling dunes of the Kalahari, and the subtropical expanse of KwaZulu-Natal brings forth all of the wonder of the wild.
That sounds so beautiful. Sounds like paradise to me. Now, the show uses cutting-edge technology to take people right to the heart of the action in real time. This is for all the animal lovers out there who never thought they would go on safari, let alone follow the lives of specific prides and clans. And this morning, Trishala Naidu, one of the guides on Safari Live, joins us to tell us more about the adventures viewers can expect to witness. A very good morning to you, Trishala. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's awesome to be able to share our experience with all of you.
Now, Trishala, we've spoken about this on the show before, but just remind us very quickly, what are the technical challenges and there's those intense behind-the-scenes challenges that we don't get to see, we only get to see the final product, but that go into making this production and this show happen live?
It's immense. It is crazy, the amount of technical expertise, guiding expertise, directive that goes into this. It's insane. Apart from our vehicles, we have to have vehicles that are kitted up for broadcast, basically in the middle of nowhere. And apart from that, we have a whole lot of equipment, great camera equipment. We have to have special IR lights, etc., so that we can see animals in the dark and be able to broadcast it. Because normally you just see what I'm seeing, which is just black in the darkness. So there's a heap of technical expertise that goes into it. And I can't, even when I started as a guide and presenter, I didn't know half these things were even needed. And that's besides the fact that, you have vehicles that go off-road, and so there's a whole lot of mechanical expertise that we need as well.
We just had a bird fly over your head. I was about to ask you to identify that for us, but that chance might have just flown over. So with all that being said, Tsushima, how many locations do you broadcast from? And also, how do you go about choosing those locations?
So we have 5 locations. I'm at Djuma Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands. Then we have Ingala, which is close by, Pridelands, which is close by, then Pinda in Natal, and Kalahari Swalu. And that gives because now you're moving from Kalahari type desert landscape, and then you've got coastal forest in tropical in Pinda, and then you come down here and you've got the loaf belt. And that's just a really good, great holistic way to enjoy wildlife and a safari experience.
Wow.
It comes with the beautiful scenery. But the show is for all the animal lovers out there and everyone who's inquisitive about the animal world, I suppose. But it can be pretty brutal, as we have briefly discussed earlier on. Sometimes you capture animals being hunted, right?
Yep, absolutely. In fact, it can be brutal, but we always warn our viewers and let them know if there's something sensitive that they may see, we let them know.
But I think one thing that truly sets this show apart is the fact that you allow for real-time audience interaction. Tell us about that element of the show, because I think it's really wonderful to have, a viewer being able to send in a question and then having the ranger at that time, literally mid-description of a scene, picking up that question and then bringing it into the conversation.
For me, I think that's the most unique thing about what we do. Because it means that I'm just not just making a show and then giving it to you and you just have to accept it. You can influence what we talk about. You can influence where we go, because maybe you say, well, #Wild Earth, I want to see an elephant today. And I'll say, okay, let's go and find some elephants. So you can actually influence what we do. And I think that's great. Apart from that, how many questions have you had about wildlife that may seem silly or just random? And now you can ask them to a guide in real time.
But has production been affected at all by, the lockdown and the pandemic at large?
It has to an extent, but luckily for us, we're pretty much already in lockdown, or pretty much already in quarantine, because we have this crew that stays on the reserve and we don't see anybody else for 4 to 6 weeks. So luckily for us, when, the first major lockdown had happened, we were already here. So it was just like we were carrying on our normal lives, just the rest of the world was in turmoil, really. And we were very lucky that we could do this. The only problem would be if there was a technical issue or we needed a part for something, it'd be difficult to get that. But luckily for us, we didn't come up against any of those obstacles.
Tsushima, it's absolutely wonderful to chat with you, but please do stay with us as we continue the Safari Live conversation a little bit later on. And of course, you at home can catch the show weekdays at 3 p.m. only on SABC3.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
You're still tuned into your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, here on SABC3. Now, the lockdown has brought about some interesting innovations around how we connect with one another. And for the Endangered Wildlife Trust, a leading conservation organization in Southern Africa, they've turned to creating an online series of talks called Wild Chats to keep the passion for conservation alive in all wildlife enthusiasts across the country. Now, Senior Manager of the Endangered Wildlife Trust, Constant Workstad, joins us to tell us a bit more about these Wild Chats. Great to have you with us, Constant. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Very well, thanks. Just a little bit cold, but good.
Yeah, I can imagine. Let's quickly talk about these Wild Chats and how they came about and what the aim is.
Yes, they came about a bit of an innovation from our communication and marketing department at the Endangered Wildlife Trust. We really needed a way to still connect with all our supporters and people out there that are interested in conservation. And they came up with this idea to try and get this platform off the ground where we can still engage with all our sponsors, donors, supporters, etc. And it's turned out to be something that's very popular. We've had over 20 Wild Chats already running on a weekly basis, and people have really loved it. We've seen a lot of engagement after the Wild Chats as well, not only live. We also have all of them on YouTube channels. So we've seen a very, very large interest from the public and our current supporters and donors, etc.
Yeah, and it's so important to be able to keep such pursuits alive and well and going, especially amidst this COVID-19 pandemic where the focus is seemingly just on headlines regarding that. So well done to you and your team on that. But I understand that you've also had some very interesting chats already, which include one on the southern ground hornbill, which is South Africa's Bird of the Year 2020, and the conservation of SA's largest crane. Could you tell us a bit more about some of the other fascinating talks that you've hosted thus far?
Yes, we've like I said, we've had some really good engagements around the talks that we've had. We've had talks on all the different projects that we work on. We have three main focus areas at the Endangered Wildlife Trust. It's species, it's habitats, and it's people. So we've had subjects around those three. I mean, most popular ones have been around the cheetah meta population project in South Africa, where we move cheetah between reserves to make sure that genetically the population stays viable. And that's and the same with wild dogs. The wild dog chats have been very popular. We've got projects in Kruger National Park. We've also got a meta population project in South Africa and Africa, where we are moving packs of wild dogs around. And South Africa is the only country in the world, and obviously in Africa, where cheetah and wild dog populations are on the rise. The rest of Africa and the world populations are declining. So people have a lot of interest around that. We've had talks on frogs. We've had talks on all kinds of different areas that we work in. So they've been very popular, but those have been the most popular chats to date.
Well, it's great to also hear that these talks are around some of the successes of conservation around our country. Now, for those that haven't perhaps seen the Wild Chats or heard them before, explain to us how they actually work online.
We run through a presentation on what the subject is about, and all the details, and people can then pop their questions into the Q&A box at the bottom. And at the end of the talk, then we normally run through these questions. We've had some very interesting questions come in, some really weird questions sometimes come in. So some of those you can answer live, and others you can just lay over to answer at a later stage by email or something else. But it's the Q&A box at the bottom is the way that we engage with the audience.
Wow, sounds like a great way to create a resource of information for all wildlife enthusiasts out there. And I'm sure that they learn a lot from engaging with you. Now, these chats are free, as I understand, but people do need to book their spot. So take us through that process, how it works, and where they can get more information.
Yes, they can go to our website, www.ewt.org.za. That gives you a little bit more detail around what to do. We also have a mailing list which you can sign on to, where we send out weekly, or in this case now we started to shift the talks out to being like bi-weekly. Then you just sign up before the talk. So the reason why we do that is just to try and see how large the platform is going to be, how many people will be attending, and then we can adjust our settings accordingly. So, but like I said, these talks are also recorded. If you go to YouTube and you look at EWT Wild Chats, you'll see that all of the talks that are recorded are placed on YouTube as well. But the live ones are a lot more fun.
Well, Constant, thanks to you and your team in the work that you are doing to protect our wildlife, and thanks for the chat.
Thank you very much.
Well, there you have it. Some meaningful edutainment for everyone out there, and a great initiative stemming from an important cause and organization, and of course, all in an effort to protect our wildlife.
It's wild out there. It's about to get wild in the kitchen because we're making butter chicken. Now, butter chicken is an ever-evolving cross-continental Indian dish that has become a favorite choice on menus from Delhi to Perth to South Africa and many places in between. In its purest form, butter chicken is a yogurt and spice marinated chicken dressed in a velvet red blanket of butter, onions, ginger and tomatoes, scented with garam masala, cumin and turmeric with a cinnamon tang. I know your mouth is already watering, but Woolies has made it easy with a butter chicken cooking sauce, and today Chef Clem is showing us how to make this winning butter chicken. Good morning, Chef Clem.
How are you?
I'm very good.
So this is really the easiest butter chicken you'll ever make in your life. And I think right now we're still talking about staying home because that's what you should be doing. So if you get that butter chicken craving, and believe me, there's no stronger craving than a butter chicken craving. If you get it and you want it, there's nothing else nothing will satisfy that. So Woolies have made it easy for you to satisfy your cravings. So you get the sauce, you get the rice, you get the chicken, you buy the combo, it's a part of the eating deal, and you save. It's that easy. And it literally takes like not even 10 minutes to put together. It's like
all about the convenience. You know when like you're trying to impress someone, so if you're having date night or something and you're like, what can you make? I'm gonna make butter chicken. And then you just whip these 3 things out, 10 minutes you have a whole butter chicken, and I'm sure this is going to
And it normally takes a very long time, but my fiance and I were like, it's on a Friday, it's called a Kerry and a Scary.
Kerry and a Scary.
It's a scary movie with a Kerry. Every Friday. Yeah, so like literally butter chicken is our go-to because we love it so much. So I want South Africa to get out and try this because it's such a good recipe. Okay, let's start off with the chicken. So it's beautiful chicken tenders, and the chicken tenders are great because they cook in record time. There's not a lot of fat on them, and it's a tender part. It's part of the breast, so we know it cooks very quickly. All you want to do is get it in a nice hot pan because as much color you get on the chicken, the more flavor you're going to get. Now, butter chicken, they normally first use a tandoori chicken, which is chicken that goes into the tandoor oven, so it gets that smoky flavor. So let the chicken sit in the pan and really pick up some color. I want you to be almost scared of the sound that it's going to make. But just keep an eye on it. Nothing's going to happen. Oh, so let it just do its thing. While that's happening, I want to create a bit of a crunch. This is something separate. I just went to Nicole's pantry and I just like, what am I going to take today? So what I do is I found some coconut flakes and I found some curry leaves. Now I always say curry leaves are if you don't feel you're a very good curry maker, get curry leaves because the essence of curry comes from these leaves. So if you're adding this to your curry, it's going to go from like an okay curry to really great. So I always buy these in bulk, honestly, and then I put it in the freezer and they go like crispy because they actually freeze. And whenever I need it, I just kind of like take it out the freezer and then just throw that into the curry. They are really inexpensive, but honestly, it smells amazing.
I'm going to ask you a stupid question. Is bay leaves and curry leaves the same thing, 2 different things?
They're 2 different things, but what I've noticed, people like using curry leaves in a curry, which is great, but then they forget about bay leaves. And you'll see if you look at traditional curry recipes, they use bay leaves and they use curry leaves, so go crazy. What I absolutely love about spices is how you just amplify a dish without complicating it. You know what flavors go really well together. And bay leaves, for me, bay leaves are an essential. You have them in your kitchen for everything. Doesn't matter if it's Italian food, Mexican food, Indian food.
South African food,
Just use bay leaves, that's the thing. Okay, cool. So, chicken's looking good. You just want to give it a little going there.
Wow, okay. This man is on fire.
Just to get a little bit of that smokiness going, give it a good toss. You see we've got that nice color in the chicken breast. So I've got this pan on over here. I'm gonna add a little bit of the oil to it. Things are gonna pop now, okay? It's gonna get a little loud. I've got some coconut flakes. Again, this is optional. This is where you take what Woolies have given you and you make it your own. Okay. So I'm hitting it with a little bit of the coconut that's going in, and that's gonna go toasted.
So nicely as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And those curry leaves at the same time. And as soon as you add the coconut, you'll notice it starts toasting immediately.
Oh, wow.
And those curry leaves as well. And it doesn't need a lot of color. It doesn't need a lot of time to cook. And that's done. That's done. So I'm gonna turn the heat off on that. That's pretty cool. Get my eating in. Cool. Now, chicken's looking good. I'm gonna hit it with the sauce. And I mean, to make a butter chicken sauce is complicated. There's a lot of elements that go in there. Woolies have done it all for you. And what's really great is it's in this bag, so it can live in your shelf however long.
Shelf, not in the fridge.
Yeah, I keep this in the shelf. It's perfectly fine. You get the fresh ones as well that go to the fridge, but this one can live on the shelf. In with your buttered chicken sauce, and it smells.
I was just gonna say, like that scent just hit me. It is gorgeous.
It is so good. And essentially, that's all that is. So all I'm gonna do now, hit it with a bit of salt. Just a little bit of salt in my coconut and my curry leaves as well. A little bit of pepper. I love black pepper in curries. And people 100%. Don't do it.
100%.
Yeah, so just give it a good little shake. Don't get it on your shirt. Don't get it on your shirt.
Don't get that.
A little bit of my shirt. Okay, it's fine. Okay, cool. And it's so simple. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take your beautiful, the rice as well. Okay, I'm on a life mission of cooking the perfect jasmine rice, perfect basmati rice. It's very complicated. Some chefs can't even do it. Only moms can do it. How do they do that?
I don't know. Moms,
Anyway.
please teach us. Can all the moms out there just tell us, like, how do you cook the perfect basmati rice? Because if Chef Clem is struggling, then I mean, all of us are going to be struggling.
Yeah, I really want to know what's your secret to getting the perfect basmati rice for curry. And I know a lot of you out there are like serious curry master chefs already. So let me know. I've got my tricks, but I want to know what you do. Okay, cool. So once that sauce is cooked through beautifully, the chicken's cooked already. I can see there's not a single little pink spot in the chicken. All I want to do, very simple, just spoon that over the rice. I mean, that was so quick.
No way.
That was so quick.
No way. That's
beautiful.
Smell, Chef Clem. What are you doing to my life right now? It's not even 8 o'clock yet, and already I'm just
I
like.
know. It's crazy. There's a little bit of this sprinkle on the top. Curry leaves, coconut. I was so surprised. I asked people, like, what's one of your favorite comfort dishes, especially in winter? And across South Africa, I'm talking about every little doorway, people were coming through and saying, butter chicken.
Probably people from Sutherland as well, because
people from Sutherland, just in general, curries.
They just like.
Sutherland, we're coming for you.
For the cold.
We're coming for you. For the cold, exactly. If it's cold, curries win every single time. One of my favorite comfort dishes, hands down, butter chicken, and this is how we do it.
I don't want to throw you under the bus. I'm going to ask you the whipping cream. What is that for?
Oh, okay. So what you want to do, if you want to actually add a little more creaminess to your butter chicken, you can totally use plain yogurt. You can use cream. You can also see Woolies has something called cultured coconut. And cultured coconut, it's a dairy-free yogurt made with coconut, and it just adds a little subtle coconut flavor. I kind of like the intense flavors of the sauce just like this, but you can totally just modify it, and also a great way to bulk it up. Add a bit of the yogurt, add a bit of that cream, that'll go in.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how hot is the butter chicken?
Butter chicken is great because butter chicken is a mild heat. It's warm, it's not hot. So it's got that little hum in the background. So on the scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably going to put it at like a 5.
For Cat, it's probably like a 9.
Yo, for Cat.
I'm not throwing shade or anything.
No, can I just say, Cat, his palate is adapting. He can take that heat. He's getting there. He's getting there, and he's on it. He's got it, yeah.
You love it, okay. Guys, if you want to get your hands on this easy recipe, all you have to do is go to expressoshow.com. Chef Clem, thank you for butter chicken.
You're welcome.
I mean, the butter chicken just got elevated to a whole new level thanks to you.
Thank you.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
This is still your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, on SABC3. Now, earlier on, we spoke to Safari Live guide Trishala Naidu about this cutting-edge show that plays on SABC3 on weekdays at 3 p.m. and where you get to be transported as a viewer into the actual wild of the greater Kruger Park, the rolling dunes of the Kalahari and the subtropical expanse of KZN. And we get to ask about what it's like working in this production, of course, where you get to receive, as a viewer, real-time responses to all of your questions while enjoying the scenery and the action of the wild. And Tsushala's back again with us to tell us exactly what it's like to be a guide for Safari Live and what it all entails. Thanks for staying with us, Tsushala.
It's an incredible experience. You learn so much and you never stop learning because you just have books and books and books, and then you realize, oh, but this mongoose that comes to my room actually does this, actually does that. So this constant learning that I absolutely love. I always tell people it's my job to learn and then help others learn.
And how does one become a guide? Because it sounds like such an interesting and nourishing job.
It is. So there's the Field Guide Association of South Africa, FGASA, and you would have to get some training with them, and then you write an exam, and you do some theory, and there's different levels. So once you do level 1, you are able to guide. And then with Safari Live, or these live safaris, it's more than just guiding, because you also need to present and you also need to do this live. So there's no second chances. You just, if you pronounce something strangely, you're just going to have to clear your throat and say, excuse me, and carry on. Sometimes, it's live. So what's particularly nice is that we have this connection with the viewers. They know the mistakes we make. They know the mispronunciations. And it becomes a fun little relationship. And I quite like that.
Yeah.
Sounds so magical.
My thing is, like, how do you pad time? Because, as live TV presenters, we know sometimes you'd have to maybe, let's say, buy 30 seconds or whatever. I'm assuming while you're out in the field and you found your leopard, but now it's just in the tree observing you as you're observing it. You kind of have to fill the time with something.
No, you have to.
We do. That's why it's such an important thing to have this very broad knowledge. So you're not just talking about the leopard, but what tree is the leopard in, and why did the leopard choose that tree to sit in?
Sure.
What is this leopard's territory? Why is this leopard spotty? Why is the leopard the color it is? Look at this leopard's whiskers. You can go on and on and on and on. That's why I said to you, learning never stops. Because all of a sudden you get this question saying, why are these whiskers on the chin so much smaller than the whiskers on the upper lip? And you think to yourself, well, I never thought about that, but I'm going to find out. There's some crazy questions. What is the pH of this caterpillar's stomach acid?
Oh, my word.
Get some crazy. But you know what? That is what feeds our learning, facilitates our learning. And I love that nitty-gritty science stuff. I've got a science background, and guiding was something that happened afterwards. So I love it.
Before we let you go, so we operate with a control room here on the show. What's it like on your end, technicality-wise?
We also have a control room, Final Control, or FC. And FC is situated in Johannesburg. We have the directors there. We have tech there. And anyone else who needs to come into work. Obviously, that's a bit difficult at the moment. And it looks like a NASA space control room, in my opinion. There's many TVs, or many screens. There's this, thingamabobby where they're pressing buttons and all of that. And then I walk in and I say, I'm just the guide.
Tsushila, thank you so much for taking us through this adventurous behind-the-scenes look at what happens on Safari Live. You and your team are absolutely fantastic, and thank you for bringing nature closer to us.
My absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Well, you too can own the nature. You can, of course, watch Safari Live happen live in the comfort of your very own home every weekday at 3 p.m. on SABC3. And in the meantime, while you're waiting for today's broadcast, you can also check them out on Facebook at Wild Earth Live.
Do you know what time it is? Do you know it's time to see who is the quickest, the smartest, and the downright sharpest? Today, our theme is all about animals, of course, and it's only appropriate that we have suitable contenders. So joining us on this end is the almost silver fox, Graham Richards. You got to do there? Yeah. international fox. And of course, we're bringing in the sexy, foxy lady, Miss Kutle Adams, coming through. Yes, give us a walk, give us a twirl. Thank you very much.
Beautiful.
Hi, everybody. Guys.
She is a foxy lady.
She is.
But you're going down. You're going down.
Oh, wow.
We'll see about
talking.
that.
Guys, you know the deal.
I love animals, so I feel like I should be like a shoo-in to women.
You should.
Yeah,
You should.
I dig my animals, man.
Guys, you know the deal already. I want answers. I want them in 5 seconds. It's all about animals.
You look nervous, eh? You look
She
like...
does.
I literally
You
know
look
like 3 animals in my life.
Like, in general or in your...
In
specifically
general,
in your
dog,
life? Or like...
cat, snake, and everything else.
In
It's just
that
like,
order.
oh yeah, there's
Dog,
a bird.
cat,
It's
snake.
okay. It's okay. We're going to do it, okay? And of course, the winner takes home the Yum Yum Oma Russ. Are you guys ready?
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Quickly, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
Name 3 animals in the big 5.
Elephant, leopard, tiger.
Wow.
Hippo. Hippo.
It's big, but is it really part of the big 5?
It is.
It's not. I don't think a hippo is part of the big...
It's not.
I'm sorry.
I give you 4.
Elephant's not one.
No, but it's...
Elephant is not part of the big 5.
No, elephant is.
Elephant is.
An elephant definitely is.
Hippos-
Tiger's not part of the
Tiger's
big
not.
5.
Okay,
And
we're
a
going to go.
African. A leopard's
Graham?
not. It's...
Graham.
You should have gone with your stock, your dog, your cat, and your snake.
Graham, name 3 types of wild cats.
A cheetah, a lion, and a tiger.
Nice one. Nice one. Quickly, name 3 animals with a tail.
A cat, a dog, a lion.
I was hoping she was going to say a snake. I was like, oh, let's
I almost said snake.
I know.
I kind of feel like if we both just said lion and tiger for every one of these things, we'd get a point. We would get something.
We're going to twist it up again. G, yeah, we are actually twisting this one up. G, name 3 types of birds.
A lory, a budgie, and a pigeon.
Oh wow, that was impressive.
It was a bit scary. But I got through it.
Quickly, name 3 sports that involve animals.
Horse racing, dog racing, and bird watching.
Is bird watching a sport?
Is oncology a sport? I don't know.
There is a bird watching. There are bird watching
But
activities.
can you do it competitively? Like, how do you competitively watch?
Dog racing.
You need to spot different birds.
You got to be the first
in
to
the
spot
region.
5
Okay.
lures.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll give it to her. G, here we go. Name 3 animal cartoons.
You've got Speedy Gonzales, you've got Bugs Bunny, you've got Wile E. Coyote.
Yes!
Hey?
You've watched them all, I'm sure.
I really did.
Yeah, I know. Quickly. Name 3 cute names for a dog.
Nonjana, Uspoti, and those are
Can you
names.
please spell the final name for us? It's spelled
NCU.
Okay.
Wow. Quickly. G, name 3 cute things to say to a dog.
Boys and gazzle guy. That's what I say to my
Gazzle guy.
Gazzle guy. I call him gazzle guy. He's a little gazzle guy.
No, but
He's
like
not a big guy.
generic
He's a little
things.
gazzle guy. It's a little dude. Come on. But it's a real thing.
Gee, I've never heard that in my life.
It's a tie.
If bird
It's a
watching is a
tie.
competitive sport, then I can get
You
gazzle
can't be
guy.
walking around going gaga to people's dogs. They're gonna be running away from you.
As if it's getting even better. But okay, here we go. Miss K, name 3 places where you can see animals.
Pardon?
Name 3 places where you can see animals.
The zoo. When you stand outside, you can see the birds, and my balcony.
Is that not outside?
No,
Is your
it's a
balcony
different location.
inside?
My balcony is attached to the building that I live in.
It's inner outside. It's not outside. It's okay.
Exactly, it's different parts of the world.
Wow. Graham, name 3 exotic pets.
A tiger, a snake, and a lizard.
Is that really the most exotic pets you could ever come up
A
with?
tiger's very exotic. If I rocked
It
up
is
with
exotic.
a pet
A
tiger,
snake.
hey, a
A
snake.
lizard, no.
What? If I walked in here with a lizard on my shoulder, you would all be like, how exotic.
Because they would probably be like, oh, is that a snake?
Exactly.
Yep. Okay, here we go. Kutle, name 3 animals you'd love to be for a day.
Oh.
And a cat, a dog, a snake.
G, if you could talk to animals, name 3 things you'd ask them.
Do you know any other snakes or dogs? Chicken, why did you cross the road?
Wow, the two of you are a hot mess. Okay, let's just get in again. Okay.
Do you know what? It's just dawned on me that I've lost this game to you.
G, you got 3 points. Kutle Adams, I don't know how this happened in life. You got 4 points. So Kutle, you are the winner.
And right now, there's a snake in our control room out there. There is a snake that's scaring people. Well done. Well done.
Or dog, or cat, we don't know.
I'll be gracious in defeat.
Gaza, gaza, gaza.
Guys, today for you at home is your last chance to win with Oma Ras. We want you to send us a photo of you enjoying an Oma Ras after work. Now you can share your photos on the Expresso Facebook or Twitter page with the hashtag anytime is dipping time. Now this week you are playing for a delicious coffee plunger and Oma Ras hamper worth 500 Rand everybody. Now the competition closes at 11 a.m. so don't waste any more time. Remember, those terms and conditions can be found on expressoshow.com. Kazaganga.
Our favorite Oma rusks just got a whole lot more yum yum with the all-new peanut butter flavor. Anytime is dipping time. What's better than a sugar-coated, deliciously crispy golden brown donut and 100% Arabica beans brewed to perfection? Treat yourself and warm up your morning with a little sweetness from McCafe with the all-new mini donut and cappuccino offer. A little lovin' doesn't have to cost a lot. Great coffee, simple.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Thanks for staying tuned to your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso on SABC3. Now, every year it is so beautiful to witness how all South Africans come together and celebrate the late Nelson Mandela's legacy by giving back 67 minutes to their communities and the people that make up our nation. Now, it's a day dedicated to selflessness. And this morning, I'm joined by Mr. Sang Yoon, the President and CEO of Samsung Africa, who's here to share how the country's most loved brand gave back for their 67 minutes. Mr. Yoon, always a pleasure to have you and to chat with you. How are you this morning?
Very good. Always good to see you again, Katleo, and all the most smartest viewers in the world at Expresso.
Yeah,
good to see you.
You know it. Now, we saw an encouraging show of support from Samsung during Mandela Day this past weekend. Share with us and with our viewers exactly what went on.
Yeah, that was a great participation for us. You know, Nelson Mandela Day is all about helping people in need and the service to others. So we as Samsung are trying to follow Madiva's guidance, and that's why we humbly participated with the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Under normal circumstances on Mandela Day, the Samsung team would have been out building houses and fixing schools through our employee volunteer program. Mm-hmm. This year, however, due to the COVID-19, we are trying to find new ways to help and support each other in a different way. So that's why Samsung was glad to donate rapid testing kits to President Cyril Ramaphosa in commemoration of Nelson Mandela Day.
Mm-hmm.
We were all impressed with the president, who was reading books to the orphans and encouraged them to focus on education. As Madiba once said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So we truly believe that the future of this young generation and our country is bright only through education.
Absolutely, well said over there. And you mentioned that you did donate rapid test kits to President Cyril Ramaphosa. Tell us a bit more about this donation and why test kits?
Yeah, we are encouraged by the great leadership of government in response to COVID-19 from the beginning. Government announced 3 key focus pillars aimed at flattening the curve and preventing transmission of the virus. These are testing, tracking, and communication. Through the risk-adjusted strategy, there has been an easing of restriction in the national lockdown, which we all appreciate. However, we realize that we are still at a critical stage, and it is very crucial to curb the spread of the virus. So we as a Samsung decided to try and bring the rapid testing kits from South Korea. According to the South African Medical Research Council, the rapid testing kits can get the result in less than 1 hour in the field. So additionally, in support of tracking and communication, we have already donated smartphones and tablets to the frontline responders. They are the true heroes who need all our support. We humbly believe that through these types of public-private partnerships and the resilient spirit of South Africans, we will overcome this challenge together.
Well, it is magnificent to hear that, and every great hero needs their superpowers, and you as Team Samsung are definitely putting the power in the hero's hands. Thank you very much for that. But we also know that Samsung never rests. So before I let you go, please share with us what Samsung's next steps are. What can we expect during this period?
Yes, good. As we are trying to humbly provide hope and excitement in different ways in this lockdown period. So as a part of the next step, we have kicked off the Sisonke with the Galaxy campaign. The name Sisonke stood out as it represents being united and believing that we can make it through together. For example, with the Sisonke with the Galaxy campaign, consumers have a chance to get every day Samsung's 75-inch TVs, double-door fridge, 2 55-inch TVs, 2 front-load washing machines through daily draws. Since May, there are over 300 Galaxy consumers winning more than 12 million rands in prize, which helped during this lockdown period. With such a good participation in the Sisonke the campaign, we are planning another exciting promotion for the consumers. We call it as the Blue Tag sales, because Katleo, you understand the Samsung's blood is blue. Mm-hmm. So the concept is providing Black Friday type of special in August with the selected Samsung smartphones, TVs, fridges, and appliances. So hey, Katleo, are you excited about Samsung BTS, which is a blue tag cells.
I mean, this is amazing. We are always, as consumers and as people out there, looking for the next exciting deal, and you certainly are making it possible for us to remain excited and be excited during these dark times. So thank you very much, Mr. Yoon, for joining us, and thank you to you and Team Samsung for what you are doing to ensure that South Africans can still smile during these dark times. And of course, we're all working towards flattening the curve, and you are doing a great job at helping the country do that. Thank you.
Yeah, and Katleo, I hope everyone understand we are doing these new promotions only because we want to provide hope and excitement during this challenging time as people are staying home and spending more family time. Thank you again, Katleo, inviting us and sharing this our opportunities. Thank you.
Oh man, always wonderful to link up with you, Mr. Yoon. Thank you so much. So with hashtag Sisonke with Galaxy and hashtag BTS campaigns running during this, you will find a reason to smile during lockdown.
Oh, thank you once again, Mr. Yoon, for giving us many reasons to smile. Let's now focus for one last time this morning on our national and international news headlines. Let's start here in South Africa, where the restaurant industry yesterday warned it cannot survive the ban of the government's reimposed curfew and a ban on sale of alcohol drinks for much longer, and offered proposals on how to prevent heavy drinking. In a letter to President Cyril Ramaphosa, one restaurant suggested that it would like a limit of 2 drinks per customer as long as they buy a meal, and another proposed an extra hour before curfew until 10 o'clock in the evenings, local time. Our restaurant owners and workers yesterday held peaceful protests against the government's reimposed restrictions right across the country. Bringing it down to the mother city, a Cape Town company is in the final stages of a rapid test that will detect COVID-19 in saliva. Medical Diagnostic Tech is one of 4 companies roped in by the Department of Science and Innovation to develop diagnostic tests for the disease. And the test will yield results within 15 minutes. The saliva-based diagnostic kit will receive another real-world test next week when it's rolled out at hospitals. Meanwhile, almost 6,000 lives have been lost due to COVID-19 here in South Africa, with some 395,000 confirmed cases. Now, casting a wider gaze on the international front, an Ethiopian Airlines Boeing 777 plane caught fire while loading cargo at Shanghai Pudong International Airport yesterday. The airline said, adding that the fire had been contained and none of the crew or ground staff were harmed in the process. The aircraft was on a regular scheduled cargo service flight from Shanghai to Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa. After the fire, flights bound for Shanghai Pudong were diverted to other airports. Investigations are underway to determine the cause of a fire that consumed part of the plane. And it seems that humans settled in the Americas much earlier than previously thought. That's according to new finds from Mexico published in the journal Nature. They suggest people were living there 33,000 years ago, twice the widely accepted age for the earliest settlement of the Americas. The results are based on work at a high-altitude rock shelter in central Mexico. Archaeologists found thousands of stone tools suggesting use by people for at least 20,000 years. Professor Tom Higham of the University of Oxford said the site was unique. Nothing like it has been seen before. And now, news of a 48-year-old mother's extensive stay in hospital. A coronavirus patient from the Western Cape who was hospitalized for the longest period thus in the province literally danced out of Groote Schuur Hospital this week, 77 days after she was first admitted. The jubilation was there for all to see when she was discharged, said Alaric Jacobs, spokesperson for Groote Schuur. 48-year-old Ziswa Makana had severe COVID-19 pneumonia when she was admitted to Mitchell's Plain District Hospital on the 4th of May. She was transferred to Groote Schuur a day later, where she was immediately admitted to the ICU and incubated and ventilated for 51 of her 54-day stay in the unit. Incredible. When she eventually left the ICU on the 28th of June and was moved to a ward, she could hardly talk or walk, but slowly grew stronger as she was rehabilitated by physiotherapy and nursing. Anna said everybody was so nice to her and the doctors were wonderful. And we quote, "I'm so grateful for a second chance at life." She is one of more than 70,000 COVID-19 patients in the Western Cape who have now recovered from the disease. Now, taking another quick look at what's happening in the world of entertainment. American media personality Kim Kardashian West is opening up about the latest developments that have been taking place with her husband, rapper Kanye West. He has his family and friends worried about the state of his mental health following controversial and emotional comments he made during his first rally for his U.S. presidential campaign this past weekend, as well as further tweets he posted which made disparaging remarks about his wife and her family. Now, while reportedly furious at Kanye for the damage his comments will cause for her family and their 4 children, Kim took to her Instagram stories yesterday to ask the public to treat them with compassion while they navigate this trying period. She explained why she had chosen to manage his bipolar disorder privately in the past and asked that society at large give grace to those who struggle with their mental health when they need it. From his side, Kanye has thanked comedian Dave Chappelle, who famously left the Hollywood spotlight for a few years, for flying out to see him in his time of distress, especially as Chappelle himself understands what the pressure of intense fame can do to someone's mental health. That's where we leave our news headlines for today. Let's take a gander at our sporting headlines. Let's kick it off with rugby. More live sport returning to the roster. World Rugby yesterday approved a revised international calendar in which the committee has proposed that the Rugby Championship be held in New Zealand, and that over a 6-week period between the 7th of November and 12th of December this year. New Zealand have obviously successfully contained the coronavirus in recent weeks and thus have become the preferred host. And staying with international rugby news, Pro 14 executives yesterday confirmed the international rugby competition will make its return on the 21st of August after play stopped due to concerns over the spread of the coronavirus. And while there will be 15 rounds followed by playoffs due to the current conditions of COVID-19 here in South Africa, no dates have yet been set for the derby games between the 2 local outfits, the Cheetahs and the Southern Kings. Then it was an eventful and goal-filled evening at Anfield last night when newly crowned English Premier League champions Liverpool, they beat Chelsea 5-3. The Reds not only celebrated their victory over the Blues with some incredible goals to boot, but also lifted the Premier League trophy for the very first time, of course, in 30 years. And in our earlier Premier League match, Manchester United, they drew 1-1 against West Ham United, bring themselves clear of the drop zone. The Red Devils will now need 1 point from their final match against Leicester City, who are also vying for that Champions League spot. And that takes place on Sunday. That's a wrap of your sport for this morning. Let's take one last look at the weather.
We are 6 minutes into the final hour of the show. Here's a quick recap of this morning's sunrise pictures before we get into the final weather report. Thank you, Ndogozo Makhathini, for representing Johannesburg with this beautiful picture. A sunny day for you today. Now, Geraldine Flatwell sending her greetings from Clovelly with this gorgeous, stunning picture that she sent us. Geraldine has been very, very generous, I must say, with her pictures on our social media platforms, and we absolutely love it. We are not complaining. Keep them going and flowing. Mpumelelo Nga shared this absolutely stunning sunrise picture from Pietermaritzburg. I have to say it's easily one of my favorite pictures with the flowers featuring and everything. Thank you. Last but not least, Ethan shared this beautiful picture of what Stellenbosch woke up to today. Thank you so much to you, Ethan. Now keep these pictures going and flowing on our social media platforms. We absolutely love seeing them. A powerful earthquake located off Alaska's southern coast jolted some coastal communities early yesterday morning, and residents scrambled for higher ground over fears of a tsunami as warning sirens blared. The strong 7.8 magnitude earthquake was centered some 100 kilometers south of Perryville on the Alaska Peninsula. There were no reports of injuries or major damage, but the tremors prompted a tsunami warning for coastal areas. Coastal Alaska communities live with the most serious tsunami risk in the United States. Historically, tsunamis generated by earthquakes in Alaska have caused serious damage and loss of life along the west coast and across the Pacific. And now let's bring it back home to Mzansi with the temperatures for the rest of the country. Mostly sunny for Polokwane at a low of 4 degrees, reaching a high of 18. Cloudy day in Bombela at a minimum temperature of 8, reaching a maximum of 20. Partly cloudy for Pretoria at 5:22, and Jozi Maboneng 3 is your low, reaching a high of 20. Hazy sunshine for Mahikeng at a maximum of 22. Klerksdorp 0:22 are your temperatures for the day, and Kimberley starts off the morning at 1 degrees, reaching an afternoon temperature of 21 degrees. degrees. It's quite chilly in Bloemfontein this morning at -5, but we'll reach an afternoon temperature of 21. Intermittent clouds for Richards Bay at a low of 12, reaching a high of 23. Pietermaritzburg 623, Durban 825, a sunny day, Mtada at a high of 25 and a low of 1. East London 925, Craddock a maximum of 26, and Port Elizabeth your low is 9 degrees, reaching a high of 23. George 1223, Cape Town 1224, a sunny day in Worcester at a maximum of 25, and Sutherland 221, also a very sunny day in Uppington at a maximum temperature of 26. That was the final look at the weather this morning. But remember, whichever part of the country you're in, whatever the weather, make sure to have yourselves a feel-good kind of day.
And it certainly is a feel-good kind of day on this Wednesday. We're Thursday already, quarter to the weekend.
Yes, Klein Vrydag.
Klein Vrydag, as they call it. Now let's talk about the act of cooking and, of course, the gift of a home-cooked meal. It's the quickest way to anyone's heart, really. And we are all about giving here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And compliments of Be Well and their hashtag Switch to Canola competition, we're giving you another chance to win a year's supply of pure canola oil. Now that's an entire year of delicious food that is waiting for you to be won.
Can you even imagine? Now, to win this week, simply respond to the competition post on our Expresso Facebook or Twitter page and tell us which dish just simply wouldn't be the same without Be Well canola oil. Don't forget to use the hashtag Switch to Canola. Now, this competition closes on Wednesday, the 29th of July at midnight. And remember, those T's and C's do apply and can be found at expressoshow.com.
Be Well. Love, food, life.
Wherever you may be, all Expresso prizes are delivered to you by Glow Flight, delivering smiles since 1998, 24/7, 365.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
All right, let's talk pets. They rule the internet, and if you have one, they probably rule your house. Yes, I'm talking about cats, and whilst they are small little creatures, they do take a big space in our hearts, and it's only fair that we give them the best love and care that we possibly can and that they deserve. And there's only one person who can tell us exactly how to do that. It's the ultra cool vet, Dr. Karin from Ultra Dog. Dr. Karin, great to connect with you. How are you this morning?
I'm very well, and you?
Very good, thanks. I think I'm well kind of poised for this because I'm both a dog and a cat person. I do love my feline friends. I think some people may think all cats are the same, but I think we know they are very different. How do cat breeds differ, and how do you know which breed is right for you?
I always tell people, do your research. You will be so surprised what breeds will fit into your lifestyle. First, I like to go and say, have a chat to your vet, have a chat to breeders, have a chat to local shelters. They have so much info to give you and will be able to help you get the ideal companion for your lifestyle. But from my point of view, a few things that you need to consider is, are you a very active person? Are you ever at home? Or do you want a cat to cuddle with? Do you have time to groom a cat, like a Persian or a Maine Coon and a chinchilla? They need regular grooming. Do you want a cat that's very vocal? Example, a Siamese will talk to you. It sounds funny, but they are very talkative cats, and they're also very playful cats. And then again, maybe you have allergies and you have certain breeds like your Devon Rexes and your Corning Rexes that are very hypoallergenic cats that are friendly for a household where there's a lot of people with allergies. So there's a lot of things to consider, and it's not a one-size-fits-all. The best thing you can do is do your research and take your own circumstances into account.
So it's almost as much as about knowing yourself and what your lifestyle needs as much as it is about knowing what the breeds are that are out there. When we're looking at adopting a cat as opposed to a different kind of pet, say a dog, what do we need to know about owning and caring for a cat specifically?
I think the biggest mistake people make is that they think cats are small dogs, and they are definitely not small dogs. They are independent, but they still need daily care and daily routine. And again, you need to think about the type of cat you're going to have. If you want to get a Sphinx, they need a lot of skin care. You need to give them, sunblock every day, where long-haired breeds need grooming every day. Also, you need to make sure that you will be comfortable with having a litter tray in your house and cleaning the litter tray daily. If you value your valuables in your house, like your couches and your curtains, you definitely need to get a good scratch post for those cats. And also I tell people you need to see if you have anything that dangles, curtains, blinders, anything like that, because you're going to need to tie it back, because cats like to hang on anything that dangle. And also you need to make sure that you do not have a lot of dangerous places for cats to hide in, tumble dryers, closets. Do you have fairly high-placed ornaments? Do you value your ornaments? Because cats like to walk on counters. And then when you look at their medical needs, cats are known to roam, and they can be very accident-prone. I mean, in practice, most of the motor vehicle accidents I've seen was cats, roaming in the streets. Then you need to consider, will you be able to keep them indoors or inside your yard? And if not, I always say good medical aid or accident cover that we at UltraSure offer by just buying a bag of Ultra Cat food is a definite thing to consider. It's not even negotiable for me. Yeah.
Then I suppose part of keeping them healthy is addressing their diets. What about cats' diets? How do we know what to feed our specific cat?
Cats are carnivores, where dogs are omnivores, which it means cats they survive on a meat-based diet, and dogs on meats and vegetables and fruits and a lot of carbs. So you need to remember that with time, cats have evolved, so they cannot synthesize their own amino acids anymore. In the wild, a cat or a lion will catch a deer or a buck or a roebuck, and they will be able to synthesize all those important ingredients, but our domestic cats cannot do that anymore. So it's very important to look what your diet contains. At Ultra Cat, we have added taurine. That is an essential amino acid which your domestic cats, they cannot synthesize it anymore. So they will not survive in the wild. And also they need to be not a purely, but main protein from animal origin in their diet, with a small percentage of plant origin, and that we provide at Ultra Cat as well. I always tell people you can feed a dog cat food, but you cannot feed a cat dog food. And also what I can add at Ultra Cat, for those fatty cats, your overweight cats with their jelly belly, we do have a low-calorie diet and also a grain-free diet for people to meet those needs.
That's a problem when there's too much fur there hiding the belly. You just can't see what's going on. I think
yes.
Even though cats do have, any cat owner will tell you that your cat has a mind of their own, sometimes too much so. How can we ensure that they are kept stimulated and well cared for, do you think?
You could go and research. There's a fantastic Facebook group that I've joined, the Feline Enrichment. They have fantastic ideas that you can do with stuff inside your house. But what you can do is make sure you have cat-appropriate toys. There is a lot of them on the market, and try to alternate between toys. Also, go and focus on your cat's natural hunting instincts, for example. Use a laser light to play with them. Download appropriate apps on your Apple or Android phone. those fishing rod toys with the little feather or little mouse in front. They love to chase that. Then also you can maximize your space. I've seen a lot of cool ideas on Pinterest where people put on shelves on their walls for the cats to climb on and to be stimulated. A scratch post is a great way to stimulate them. And also you can teach your cat to walk on a leash. There's a lot of cats that love it. For example, my Maine Coons, we've taught to walk on a leash and they can walk with us. So it's a nice thing to do.
Well, of course, a Maine Coon does kind of look like a small dog. They're so massive anyway.
They're huge. They're huge.
And I suppose lots of love. Even if the love is on their terms, lots of care and lots of love. Doctor, thank you so much. You are ultra cool. Thank you so much for putting in the hard yards for us so we can take better care of our pets. In this case, our most adored cats, our feline friends. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
So if you guys have any questions about your cat, you can engage directly with Dr. Karin on the UltraDog website under the Ask Dr. Karin section. Her knowledge base is astounding. Go and fire off any questions. She really will be able to help you out. And of course, you can get that resource at www.ultrapet.co.za.
Thank you so much to Dr. Karin from UltraDog, giving us all the information to keep our furry friends happy during this time, winter season. Speaking about furry friends, we've asked people on social media to let us know, like, your furry friends' names, who they are. Are you a animal lover? Are you a dog lover, cat lover?
Yes, although my current living circumstances don't permit for pets.
Oh, wow.
But, you know, in general, I love furry friends. I'm more of a dog person. You know, the idea of just like running across a wide field with a dog that has a lot of energy. Fetch this. Yeah, I love that. I grew up with dogs. And you? No, not at all. Oh,
No,
that was pretty short and concise.
I'd rather find out what the people have to say.
But to those of you who do love your furry friends, we ask you to share with us their names and the inspiration behind their names. So Sydney Scott Gutierrez says Brenna and Nacho because he's Nacho average guinea pig. They're besties and love sitting on their chair, which is next to the fireplace. Beautiful stuff.
That is so cute. Top fan of ours, Josephine Pickstone, says, good morning, family. My baby Jock is a stunner, very intelligent, sitting and having his dinner at the table. Sometimes love him unconditionally. Look at that.
But you got to give us the name, Josephine. Or is his name Stunner?
Or Jock.
Baby Jock. My baby Jock.
Baby Jock.
Oh, okay, baby Jock. As in Jock of the Bushveld, maybe. Okay. Hey, Jane Ann Wilson. We know where she is right now.
We know where she is.
Is my schnauzer and little shadow Mia, the best companion for the last 10 years and lockdown partner. Wow.
Look at that face.
Look at that. Oh,
that makes me want to be a dog person.
That's a pretty well manicured schnauzer mustache. It's like, it's got that drooping thing. It looks like Jane Ann like trims it at least once a week.
She probably does. I won't be surprised.
Stuff, Jane Ann.
Listen, we've got another one from Vinny Governor saying, Andy, the name derived from being handy to me whilst I was admitted in hospital after loss of my furry pet Max. Now my hubby bought Andy so I can recuperate, okay, and bond with Andy after the loss of my baby boy Max. That is so cute. Look at that, and look at his like little tongue out, like.
Andy's so handy. Okay, then Gail here says, "This is my Daisy girl. Look at that. That's Daisy. She's a rescue dog who came to me with a lot of stress and anxiety problems. She's a happy, safe, and secure little doggy now, and is my constant friend and companion, keeping me sane and entertained during this lockdown period. Love her to bits. Daisy girl, you are loved. That's absolutely wonderful. So do you feel yourself being a bit more of a furry friend person right now?
I love Bob, I love Bella, I love Bastian. That is my furry friends, but I won't get one for myself.
One step at a time.
Yeah.
Soon enough, you'll be giving treats.
Yeah. Who let the dogs out?
Jamie Lee Domberg.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Cat.
I love that. I love that so much. Yes, when I chef Clem, sometimes you are just too brilliant.
You think I'm gonna go left, and then I go right.
You just take it a whole different direction. Okay, now into serious business, okay? Mamelani bantu baseMzantsi Afrika siza apha phambi kwenu ngenhliziyo emsulwa sinicela ukuba nenze into enhle namhlanje and just assist and do a good thing and help someone in need. For as little as 10 rand, you can provide one person with 3 meals for a day. So join us in our fight against hunger as we support the Woolies Fill a Bag campaign and help them reach their 1 million meal goal. Yesterday we said approximately 280,000 meals away from the 1 million meal goal. So with your help, we can definitely achieve that. How can you get involved, you may ask? Just scan the QR code on screen with the SnapScan app or your banking app on your phone to donate today. No amount is too small, and it is up to you how much you would like to contribute towards filling a bag. Remember to encourage your friends, your family, your neighbors, colleagues, and chat groups to do the same. Every little bit will help in making a big difference in someone's life. But now we're back in the kitchen, back to cooking. I have a little bit of a mystery challenge on my hands right now. Chef Clem has asked me to taste something and wants to know what the secret ingredient inside the dish is. Look, I'm a person that trusts my taste buds, okay, Chef Clem, so bring on the challenge. Here's the chocolate mousse, right?
It's a chocolate mousse, right? You a fan of chocolate mousse?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a secret ingredient in there, but first I want you to taste it. Tell the viewers what you think about it, and then you can start with the guesses. Okay, how does it taste?
It is so delicious, but can I tell you something? The secret ingredient
it's not
subtle.
It's not subtle?
It's not subtle, but it's not subtle.
Okay.
However, it complements the chocolate so well. It's definitely Avo.
Yeah. I mean, could you not even pretend to not know?
I'm so sorry. I love Avo. I eat Avo with everything. So an Avo taste for me is very distinct.
Right.
Yes.
Some people don't think so. Some people think it's very neutral. But Avo's got this, like, it's, how do you describe it? It's
can't
creamy,
tell you.
number one. There's a very fresh flavor to it as well. It's hard to describe. And like, I think it works really well in this recipe. It adds so much decadence to it. I think it's great. Okay, so this is one of the easiest chocolate mousses you'll ever make.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love this recipe because if you make a Avo cake, which is also great because the fat in the Avo keeps that cake super moist and delicious. And if you make an Avo cake and then you ice it with this Avo chocolate mousse, you just like Avo winning everywhere.
You know what I'm saying? But I am quite shocked that people put Avo
Sorry,
in.
let me just do the reveal. I'm sorry. There was a lot more thunder that was supposed to come with it.
Oh, so sorry. It's Avo. Wow, okay.
Okay, but you were saying?
No, I was just saying that I was shocked to learn that people put Avo in their desserts. I've never had any dessert with Avo inside.
Well, it's a fruit, right? So, I mean, like, we've just
Technically, it is a fruit.
Yeah, we've just been so, like, used to, like, having Avo in, like, savory things, but it actually works really well in, like, sweet dishes. And I love the versatility of Avo. And honestly, it is in season right now, and it's going to be in season until January, so there's never a better time to actually have Avo.
That Avo looks so good.
This Avo was runner-up in Miss South Africa 2019.
Uzozi me must be found shaking somewhere as Miss Universe because this Avo is coming for the crown.
I bet you she's an Avo fan as well.
I'm pretty sure she is. I'm sure she is.
But yeah, absolutely. I like the fact that you said there is a bit of a flavor because you do get that creamy, beautiful flavor from Avo that works really well and it comes through. Like I've even seen people like there's Avo flavored seasonings now and I'm like, huh? And then you taste it and you're like, wait.
Does it taste like Avo?
Yeah, there's a little bit like a subtle Avo flavor. But I absolutely love the fact that Woolies now, you just get them ripe and ready. And ripe and ready is exactly what it says on the label. So like, you get it, and then you go home and enjoy it. The worst thing ever is when you go into store and you buy it, and you still have to wait like
a few days.
And you know, you'll take a phone call. And by the time you're on the phone call, the Avo will go from being hard to ripe to like, I'm done now. You missed it.
It's about that time.
It's about that time. So ripe and ready means exactly that. You go to Woolies, you get the Avos, you go home and you enjoy them. On your nachos, oh my goodness, on a guac.
Of course.
Like, absolutely, that's where they shine. Absolutely. So you just gotta get creative with it. And they're locally grown. I mean, which is everything.
And
it's not
we're
coming
all
from
about locals.
It's not getting international travel right now. It's great in South Africa. We support local, and that's what we absolutely love. There's never been a better time to get into Avo.
And particularly when we're speaking about local, it's so great that we can support local people because of, you know, the pandemic, the lockdown, because it's affected them and their industries as well. So 100% local is the way to go right now.
Being a chef, you got to be so conscious about the foods that you cook and cooking in season because you got to work with the environment. That's one of the reasons I absolutely love working for Woolies, because their sustainability, their vision and their goals on par with exactly how I feel like South Africans should be eating. Eating local and eating seasonally. That's why I absolutely love working for this amazing team. And like the recipes as well, just showcase the most amazing South African produce. I love it. I love it.
Let's get into the recipes.
Yes,
actually,
we're supposed to be
because
cooking.
you put in a little bit of cocoa, right?
A little bit of cocoa went in there, and cocoa is absolutely great for like chocolate cakes. We know that gives it that intense chocolate flavor, more than like malted chocolate does. That going in there. A little bit of sweetness came from honey. If you want to make it vegan, maple syrup goes in there. And then I like adding a little bit of water, not only just to thin it down, but the water actually makes it more creamy.
How so?
I don't know.
What's the science behind that?
I don't know. And I think it's maybe just the water, like, and the blades going aerated through the avo and the cocoa that maybe just make it creamier. It's magic. I don't have all the answers, Kukle. I was still preparing myself for Kukle being like, is it cashew nut? Is it da-da-da-da-da? But no, straight out the box, with the wind.
I'm sorry. I apologize for disappointing you, Chef Clem.
You can't apologize for the fact that you're just so smart. Okay, so you can see, like, it comes together so beautifully, and it's really getting that it looks like a chocolate mousse already.
It's quite thick. The consistency is thicker than this one, though.
Exactly. So I'm gonna add a little bit more water just to get that smoothness coming through. This is so simple, and I actually like making this like an hour before the time that I need it, just so that cocoa can hydrate in the avo. That's beautiful. And then you literally just serve it as a chocolate mousse. It is so easy, so delicious. I'm gonna use my same spoon now. But I mean,
what do you eat chocolate mousse with?
With a spoon in my face.
That's it.
Yeah, look how beautiful that is. That is so insane.
Gorgeous.
That is a chocolate mousse. But honestly, chocolate mousse for me is really great, especially when you get those Woolies dippers right now, and they get the little dipper. The one is coconut flavored dipper. I actually just dunk it in the chocolate mousse and I eat it like that. But that's a weekend thing because I'm actually being really good during the week. Talking about being
behave.
Hey, look, like Ryle, we were doing some exercises, we've been eating healthy because we're just doing that. But in all honesty, this is actually really good for you because, I mean, your cocoa is great. Cocoa is full of antioxidants. Avos are great for you. The little bit of a maple or the honey, there's a little bit. So this is actually a weekday treat and you can totally go crazy with this. Treat yourself and enjoy it. Enjoy the flavors of this mousse.
And of course, who will ever complain about eating chocolate mousse? Definitely not me. Thank you so much for putting me on, Chef Clem.
You're welcome.
A little bit of sprinkle of some salt.
Taste it with the salt. Taste it with the salt. I'm done, South Africa. It's been amazing. Thank you, South Africa.
South Africa, before you go, okay, make sure to get your hands on this recipe on expressoshow.com. We'll see you after this. Chef Clem, you've done something here.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
You're still with your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, right here on SABC3. Now, growing older as the years pass us by is something we all experience. However, we aren't all prepared for the body changes which will come along with it, right? I mean, there are many of them, from thinner, more elasticated skin to fine lines and wrinkles, hair loss, and crossing over to the salt and pepper side. It can be quite a little daunting. However, the Big Master Your Look campaign is all about embracing the change throughout all of life stages.
Ah, so true, Tubbs. Now, today we are joined by Aziz Jacobs, who is going to share some wisdom for the more mature man looking to master his look. Aziz, are you with us this morning, and how are you doing, my friend?
Good morning. I'm good, thanks. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we are so
fantastic.
Good. And sorry to get schooled and learn some of all the wisdom that you have. But now, listen, there are so many misconceptions around aging when it comes to your appearance. And added to that, the social norms which influence our thinking on this matter. But what are some of the biggest myths when it comes to aging?
I think if you grow older, the first thing you have to do is embrace it, and that makes you feel more comfortable. And people would go around and saying that you need to dress your age, stress makes your hair go grayer, and you should start using anti-aging products when you're in your late 30s or 40s. Those are all misconceptions. The sooner you start a grooming routine, the sooner you can tackle these areas.
We know that skin changes are amongst the most visible signs of aging. What are some of the most important factors we need to be remembering when it comes to the prevention of thinning skin, for example, or even those lines and wrinkles?
You need to have a strict grooming routine in your 20s already. Try and make sure you kind of have a grooming routine that works for you. Sunscreen is very important. You need to wear sunscreen daily. Start in your 20s. That's amazing for anti-aging. It's great for the skin. And once you get older, it's easier to take care of your skin then.
I like that you even had that little beep going off there, almost like a reminder. It's time to put on sunscreen.
Aziz, I must agree with you, though. I think being a lifeguard and being in the sun, I've had the opportunity to always put sunscreen lotion on. And in my latter years now growing up, I do find that the glow is still there, just a little bit more than what it could have been. But moving on, though, I believe there's an estimated 25% of men who have a chance of displaying some sort of balding by the age of 30. And Aziz, I've got to be honest with you, the reason why I'm wearing this cap is I might be a part of that 25%, to be honest, that's started. And I'm just looking for any tips, and for anyone else that's kind of struggling with the same thing. When it comes to hair care for men and for mature men, what should we be doing with our hair?
Normally, hair loss is based on genetics, and it's very difficult to use a shampoo to kind of prevent baldness because, that's not going to happen. But I think if you find products that's suited for your hair type, for your hair concerns, use it on a regular basis. It might slow down the process, but eventually it's not a prevention, to be honest.
Aziz, here's the other thing. A lot of guys, like Ryle, they seem to dread the first few grey hairs, but it really is so unnecessary. What advice can you share on going grey gracefully and really mastering that perfect salt and pepper look?
I can relate to Ryle, don't worry. Yeah, it is kind of, it's something to get used to if you have the confidence to embrace the look, because the salt and pepper look is really a trend right now. And even younger guys in their 20s kind of wear the salt and pepper vibe. The neater the style, the tighter the look, the better it comes off and the more confidence you have.
Spoken like a true guru indeed. Now, Aziz, I've obviously been blessed enough to actually work with you, and I get so excited when I do because you completely transform that look and you bring something so special to the forefront. But for you as a guru, what are some of your top tips when it comes to mastering your overall look?
It's find a right grooming routine. I make sure that I find a cleanser that's suited for my skin. I've got a combination skin, so you need to to find the right cleanser and moisturizer. I do use an SPF every day. And also what I really love is an eye cream. I use it twice a day. That's my go-to product. I cannot live without that. And then also make sure that you use an anti-aging mask or a mask with an anti-aging properties. What you need as you grow older, what I think you should really invest in is a multi-purpose trimmer for your beard. And that will also keep your look intact.
Well, I must tell you, Aziz, for me, it's the big Flex 5 always in pocket. I think that having that convenience to be able to trim as you go along, depending on what situation you find yourself in, really does come in handy. And I've really enjoyed this journey and this experience of having this and using it. But from the guru's mouth himself, Aziz Jacobs, the editor of Fashion and Grooming at Men's Health, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for having me, and have a lovely day.
Ah, fantastic.
He's not just a legend. You know,
yes.
He kind of makes you feel like whenever you see the man, you just want to like make sure you're all prim and proper in check, and you got that style box ticked. And of course,
take a notebook with you and take some notes.
Well, now don't forget, Big Flex are giving you a chance to master your look by standing a chance to win a shopping voucher to the value of 5,000 Rand. And all you need to do to win this week's voucher is reply to the competition post on our Expresso page. And of course, that's on Facebook or Twitter. And tell us from your hair to your skin, what is your grooming secret to #master your look. And now, of course, there can only be 2 more vouchers that are up for grabs, and this week's competition closes at 12 p.m. tomorrow. So what are you waiting for? Friday, 24th of July, be here to get your entries in. Your T's and C's can, of course, be found on expressoshow.com.
Master your look with Big Flex.
The day has come, and as promised, we asked you to share all your burning skincare questions so that we can have our W Beauty expert give us the real scoop. We are excited to introduce W Beauty Technical Manager Laura Naidu, everybody, who is in charge of making all the fabulous products that we see over here today. We are also joined by our resident fashion and beauty editor, Unox Mafu, who always has her finger on the pulse on how best to take care of your beauty needs, particularly during this winter season. Welcome, ladies. Laura, we don't have you here every day. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. I am well.
Oh, it's so good to have you. Nox Neso Kalanga.
Yes,
A lot
let's
of
do
people have, different skin problems and they have different skin questions. What do you think is the most common skin care question that you have received?
Absolutely. So I think a lot of the time people struggle with 3 main issues, which is probably that oily buildup that happens, particularly because we're sitting under our masks for a very long time. So breakout is possible to happen at this time. Of course, then you're working from home and you're working and you're taking after the kids. So dull and tired skin is also a big issue that we find in the winter months. I know I'm struggling with that at the moment. And then, of course, dry and cracked skin is the one that takes everyone like...
We're tired of ashy.
Ashy, dry, cracked skin, and I think those are the big issues. I guess most people are trying to figure out how best to deal with it, but I think those are the primary issues, Laura.
Definitely, in winter.
In winter, absolutely.
But it also seems that a lot of people complain about, dry and cracked skin during winter, but what causes it and what ingredients should we look out for, in the products particularly, Laura?
So in winter, one of the main causes of that you do get dry skin is from the temperatures, so the low temperatures, and your body goes into shock and your cells and the receptors, and it gets overstimulated. So that's what's causing the dryness and the cracking of your skin. Along with that is taking very hot showers. We now expose our bodies to hot showers for a longer period of time, and we also do sit in front of the heaters and warm blankets, and that actually causes your skin to dehydrate. So that's the main causes of dry skin in winter. Along with dry skin comes itchiness, and eczema and other skin problems. But I mean, the best products to use, like for your body, I would say the main thing you want to do is lock the moisture in as soon as possible. So after taking a shower, you get 3 minutes, lock your moisture into your body. So apply your body lotion at least 3 minutes after taking a shower. You would lock in enough water into your skin. The ingredients to use use in your body products, you should look for vitamin E, very good in conditioning and hydrating. You would look for your natural shea butters and your cocoa butters, so vegan-friendly ingredients. And W Beauty, the body range, love your skin, vegan-friendly, lovely for intense moisturizer. Look for glycerine. That's for your body. For your face, I would suggest look for ingredients such as hyaluronic acid. They provide deep penetration into your skin to give you the ultimate moisturization. So look for your hyaluronic acids, look for your hydrators, and look for your vitamin E in your face creams.
This is such an important conversation, and I'm taking down so many notes, Laura, because my skin, I've been complaining to Unox, it has become so dry and it feels like it's cracking sometimes, especially when you pull a smile. But once you mention that you need to lock down the moisture after taking a shower within that 3-minute time frame is a tip that I'm definitely going to be using in my personal life.
I mean, Kuhle, as you're just saying, like, it happens, it's in our daily practice, you know. Good skincare really has to be integrated. I know a lot of people, I'm struggling with this, are struggling with like dull skin. Like I try everything and it looks tired and dull, and I think most people at home are probably struggling with the same issue. How do you get around that?
So in dull skin, I think the one thing you want to do is you want to feed your skin. So you want to quench the thirst of your dehydrated skin. And I would suggest using hydrating cream. So a lot of intense hydration. So it's deep moisturization. So we've got a hydrating gel moisturizer in W Beauty. That's ideal. And then you could pop on serums and masks. And in W Beauty, we have a hydrating sheet mask. So it's masks that you leave on and you treat your skin. And they have so much of gel in the sheet mask. So once you take your sheet mask out, you could just tap on the gel and let it lie and leave it in your skin. So that helps. And I mean, those are the things that you would want to do.
What I love about the mask also is that it gives you that plumpiness in your face after you've taken it off, and you feeling more refreshed and hydrated and all those lekker things.
Other key things you can do is, I mean, you have to get your rest. They do say beauty sleep is a thing, and it does help. So get your rest, drink a lot of water, stay hydrated. And then if you want an instant hydrated or instant refreshed look, and you don't have a lot of time in lockdown, and time is of the essence, and you can just spray on the face hydrating mist and you'll get an instant hydrated, refreshed, revitalized skin look. Or if you want a dewy, glowy look to revive your dull skin, you can just pop on evening recovery facial oil drops, which will give you an instant glow.
I love that. I attest to the spray over there. Jamie and I, after the show, we have to remove our makeup because we wear makeup every single day. So once you pop that off after washing it, it kind of boosts it again and gives it that kind of hydrated feel. So Laura, we've asked our viewers to share some skincare questions rather on our social media platforms, and we've received Ukagiso. He says, I have blackheads and I even went to see a dermatologist, but nothing seems to work for me. I have also tried skin products, but still my skin does not respond.
So Kakiso, thank you for the question. I think in terms of blackheads, the main thing you want to do is keep the oil control in check. So make sure that you wash your face twice daily. Every time you sweat, so after you work out or if you do something strenuous, make sure you wash your face. Removing the oil and keeping the oil on the low will prevent the blackheads because it's just a buildup of dirt in your pores. The other thing you could do is steam your face. So you could use a home steamer if you have at home, or if you don't have, just some hot water in a bowl, cover your face with a towel, steam up your face, let the pores open. You could use a blackhead remover. It's a tool that W Beauty sells. You can remove your blackheads at least once a week, so that tool will help you. And other than that, I would suggest oil control products, use lightweight products, use our mattifying face mask. So it's a clay mask that will strip oil off your face and help you with the blackhead control.
I love that. Thank you so much, Laura. Kim Stokes says, hi, I've got very oily skin, not sure what to use, as I have tried several soaps and creams with no luck. Even foundation doesn't cover it up. I know a lot of women love to, build on foundation to hide their imperfections. What do you have to say for Kim?
So Kim, one tip for you, from your question, I can relate that your oily skin is through your genetics and your hormones, which is a natural which is an overstimulatum of your glands that causes the sebum production. So overloading with products will not really help. I would suggest wash your face regularly with a gentle, mild mild cleanser. So a lot of WBeauty products are derma tested and they're mild and gentle. So use a gentle cream cleanser to wash your face regularly. Use oil control products that are very lightweight. So look for products that has less oil or hydrating products that will give you oil control. You could also use a mattifying mask, but the key thing is not to cover up too much, do not overstimulate your skin, do not put a lot of products in, and even covering up with foundation, not best practice. Use a lightweight moisturizer, a blemish balm, which will help you with your oil control.
Yeah, I love it. Resident Beauty Editor Unox Mafu and WBeauty Technical Manager Lauren Naidu. Thank you so much for joining us. I wish we could have you on the show every single week because these are definitely important conversations that we need to have. Taking care of our skin, whether you have good skin or bad skin, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we all need to kind of take a step back and take care of ourselves. Well, there you have it, Mzansi. All the tips and tricks you need to help get the healthy skin you love. We're always here to help you get the most from your skin with a little help from Woolies. Remember to get all your hands on all the latest WBeauty products in store, online, or on the Woolies app.
So I'm chatting to Umalume Mosa here. He's owned a small clothing factory for years now, and he's always inspired me with his success. But like a lot of businesses, this lockdown's hit him hard. So he spoke to his banker, and they've put together a tailor-made relief solution for him to help his business and his people get through this. Making your bank your business partner, that's a habit worth keeping.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso on SABC3. Now, every now and then, our next guest drops by to school us in the world of money, to show us how to save and invest. But today, Sizandile Tsikido, the head of retail investments from Nedbank, is here to show us how we can give back to our community and to create some cool rhythms while we're at it as well. Sisa, always great to see you. How are you today?
Hey, Kat, I'm great. How are you doing?
Very, very well, thank you. Now, of course, COVID-19 has affected the entire nation and a lot of people want help, but it can seem overwhelming knowing exactly where to start because there's so much need. But Nedbank have stepped in and made it really easy to donate with the Nedbank for Good project, right? Tell us a bit more about that.
So Nedbank, as you know, prides themselves, or we pride ourselves rather, in being money experts who do good. And in the true spirit of Ubuntu and being money experts who do good, we came together and we came up with this fund called the Together Fund, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just a feel good, do good fund for South Africans who are impacted by this terrible pandemic. As you know, that we've lost thousands of jobs. People have lost millions in terms of money and revenue, and some people are just not going to recover. There's communities where people have lost jobs in households. There's absolutely nobody working. There's 10 people living in one household, and there's not even like the basics of food. I don't know if you know, but there are about 9 million children that currently benefit from this feeding scheme in schools. So with the COVID-19 and lockdown, kids have not been able to get at least one meal, which is what they get from school. So them and their families are sitting there hungry, and we've got parents who are shielding children from hunger, and they themselves are going hungry. So as Nedbank, we came together and we challenged each other to say, what is it that we can do for communities without just wanting something from communities, or not just wanting to be the bank or the brand where you come and bank with us, but we wanted to be relevant, and we actually wanted to live up to our name of financial experts who do good. Yeah. And we came and said, let's come together and create a Together Fund. And we've partnered with World Vision, we've partnered with Doctors Without Borders, and we're providing PPE equipment to frontline workers, as well as food supplies to destitute communities.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. Give us some sense of the scope of the work that's been done thus far. You talked about helping healthcare workers with PPE. You talked about providing food to families and communities in need. Do you have any idea of how many people's lives you're touching with this incredible initiative?
So I think the first initiative, or the first kind of outreach program that we had was on June 16th. Mm-hmm. And we went out to Orange Farm, where we fed hundreds of individuals. We distributed some food parcels with the help of our friends at World Vision. We've also distributed some furniture supplies to hospitals, as well as PPE equipment, through our friends at Doctors Without Borders. And we're just getting together and challenging South Africans, challenging whether you're a Nedbank customer, whether you're a CEO of another company, or you're just CISA and you're just an average Joe, you want to help someone out. We've just made it that much easier to connect, to crowdfund this initiative, and to actually just give back in the true spirit of being South African.
Wow, that's truly amazing. Now, the other cool thing is that you started something really cool, a challenge, in order to get people to donate. And I believe it's called the hashtag Drum for Good Challenge. And I'm being told by my producers that you're not the average Joe when it comes to making beats. So you're going to show me...
Better recognize.
So you're going to show me how it works, right?
100%. So we wanted to make this a bit fun, right?
Yeah.
One, convenient for people to donate, and also quite fun. So if you go to the together.nedbank.co.za site, you'll be able to get QR codes that you can upload onto any payments app or your banking app, and you can donate from as little as 110 Rand, whatever you've got, to your maximum, whatever that is. But this is what you need to do once you have donated. You've got to upload a video of yourself playing the drums. So I'm going to start with a very simple drum challenge, or drum beat rather, for this challenge.
Okay.
And when you post, you need to tag someone, right? Mm-hmm. that you're going to challenge to do the same thing, to do better than you at the drum challenge, as well as note how much they've donated, or just that they have donated. So this is my beat.
Okay. Hey. Yo. Ow!
So you're it.
Clap banger. Clap. Oh, is it? Must I now? Okay. So is it?
Yeah,
like
you gotta do better than me.
Oh, so I'm gonna do better than you. Well, Sisa, I don't know if you know it, but I have 2 cups here.
Oh wow.
You know, because when it comes to making beats, you need different levels of like synths and you know, frequencies. So I got my bass here. Then I got some snares here. But then, how about some cymbals? So feel this out.
This is fantastic.
Yo! Can you feel it in your bones? Yo!
You win. Okay, you got this.
Listen, it's absolutely brilliant, and I love the fact that you guys are infusing fun into doing good as well. So not only are you the money experts that do good, but you are also the money experts that do good with great drum beats too. So thank you very much for joining us this morning, Sisa.
Thank you. And please, South Africa, please help us make a difference. In this difficult time, can we just spread the love? And those who have, I think, a duty to give to those who don't have. People don't actually need to sleep without food. People don't need to go hungry in this country. We actually have enough to go around. So please help us help others. Thank you and have an amazing weekend. Thank you, guys.
Well said, Cisa. Now, Nedbank have created their own sound of doing good. So play your part by creating your own drum beat and challenge your friends to donate and do the same. And of course, use hashtag #DrumForGood Let's get that rhythm going in support of our nation's most vulnerable citizens out there. And you can visit together.nedbank and of course, click on the How You Can Help tab to make your donation.
Thanks to our friends at Nedbank, Cisa over there, continuing the goodness. And we're going to continue that goodness right here. Now, after being inspired by Kelly's donation earlier this week, along with the continuous efforts of you, the South African public, we have another crew donation lined up. This time is from one of our in-house digital team members, Zozo Human, who is passionate about the Woolworths Fill a Bag campaign and wants to give back. Take a look.
Hi guys, it's Zoe here from the digital team, and today I'm going to be donating to help fill a bag. So I'm going on my snap scan, and there you go, that was really quick. And so I'm going to be donating 100 Rand. My mommy said she's going to match me and donate 200 Rand. Yeah, because she's more blessed, Mus. So you put in your amount, and then it's really simple and it's already complete. So there you go. Have a good one, guys, and I challenge you to do the same.
Sweet thing. Thanks so much for that. And to everyone who has made a donation so far, thanks to the continuous and ongoing efforts of South African citizens just like you, Woolies has managed to raise 2,131,214 Rand. Over 2 million Rand. Are you kidding me? This equates to a total of 722,445 meals and 3,437 bags donated. Bags with essential goods in them. We are just now under 280,000 meals away from the main goal, which can be achieved if roughly 28,000 South Africans just donated 10 Rand each. I think you can spare $10. Come on. Massive thank you to Zoe for her donation, and her mom as well. And to you, South Africa, for your undying attitude and willingness to help those in need. That's Ubuntu.
Beautiful message all round there. Thanks to our friends at Woolworths, to the Gift of the Givers, man, to our friends at Nedbank as well for just encouraging South Africans out there to be giving during this time. And hopefully it's a trend that we can start and one that we can keep on for many generations to come, that we become communities that really care about each other in that way. I think that's what Ubuntu is all about, right?
Truly, that's what Ubuntu is all about, and that's what Utatu Nelson Mandela as well has been preaching throughout his lifetime, the importance of just inspiring and doing goodwill with what, we have and what we know. And he had these very inspiring words to say today that we are sharing with you. A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination.
Oh, it's beautiful stuff, eh? I heard that you've also been working on your Nelson Mandela impersonation. I mean, your talents are endless, Kutle Adams. How about you give us those words of wisdom in your very well practiced Nelson? No, really. The whole studio has been raving about it, and apparently you are the one when it comes to it. Come on, Kutle Adams, don't disappoint the nation. They're
Okay,
waiting.
how about you do it first and I'll follow.
I'm not the one who's been practicing. I'm not the one who's been practicing.
Guys. I don't know. No, guys.
A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination.
That was impressive. That was pretty good. Shout out to you. That I actually understood it better when you read it that way. It makes so much sense now.
Wow. But listen, we hope that we, as the Expresso family, are certainly encouraging of that kind of thing, where you go out into the world with a good head and a good heart and you just want to do good unto those around you. Listen, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to be live again tomorrow morning, and we've got the Friday Dance Master KG's Jerusalem. We'll be doing it for you. See you tomorrow. Make someone smile out there. Bye.
Adios.
Expresso Show, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.